68%. Chapter 341 Life Imprisonment, the current situation of the little devil. Besides, there are even more excessive ones. Those bricks know how powerful Muningshe is. Once the shot is taken, the army of alien creatures will be abused and the life can't take care of itself. At that time, not only will it not be able to solve the crisis of the Sakura Empire, but maybe the alien army that was besieging the Yanlong Empire will be frightened and swarm to the Cherry Blossom Empire. If that was the case, the Sakura Empire would definitely be wiped out. So another bricklayer spoke up. It is recommended not to let Muningshe make a move. The military department can even give up some insignificant towns when necessary to show the enemy's weakness, so as to confuse the army of alien creatures. Let the army of alien creatures think that there is an opportunity to take advantage of it. Then attract the alien army that invaded the Sakura Empire. In this way, the crisis of the Sakura Empire can be successfully rescued. As soon as these remarks came out, it can be said that there was an uproar all over the world. 960. The three views of countless Yanlong people were directly shattered to the ground. Many people from all over the world are also looking forward to watching the show. The people of the Eurasian Federation didn't expect that they hadn't exerted their strength yet. Someone inside the Yanlong Empire actually agreed to this wonderful request from the Sakura Empire. After all, the blood feud between the Yanlong Empire and the Sakura Empire is well known all over the world. But now the words of these brick and mortar experts in the Yanlong Empire are really intriguing. Have to say, the Sakura Empire still has some tricks. It's just that the little devil's calculations are quite loud. But they ignored the right to speak of the older generation in the Yanlong Empire's military headquarters. After all, the Yanlong Empire is in a state of first-level combat readiness. All things must make way for the victory of the war. In short, it is now the military headquarters of the Yanlong Empire. Whether it is power or the right to speak. Much tougher than usual. So in the face of this kind of remarks that can be called long rape and lackeys, there is nothing to say. But any bricklayer who has made such remarks that are biased toward little devils. All were arrested by the military for treason. Those who were directly deprived of all honors were thrown into prison. Sentenced to life imprisonment. The meaning of these military chiefs is very clear. Aren't they advocating little devils? Then let them live in prison. Take a good look at how the Cherry Blossom Empire they were thinking about was destroyed by alien creatures. Because the military's actions were too decisive and resolute. So that the incident has not yet begun to ferment. The military department announced that several bricks had been arrested and imprisoned for treason. And also released a video of those bricks in prison. For a time, people all over the country celebrated with joy. As for the request made by Sakura country who lived a good life. The Department of Foreign Affairs of the Military Ministry just made a request. That is, it has been besieged by an army of alien creatures all these years, and the army of the gods of the Yanlong Empire's army is already exhausted, unable to launch a full-scale attack on alien creatures. If the Cherry Blossom Empire can't hold on any longer, then help them lead the surrounding alien army to live elsewhere in the territory of the Cherry Blossom Empire. In this way, the Yanlong Empire can send troops to help the Cherry Blossom Empire resist those alien creatures. Quote. Faced with this request from the Yanlong Empire's military headquarters, the Sakura Empire was naturally unwilling to accept it. Joke. Now this army of alien creatures has tortured them unspeakably. If the hundreds of thousands of alien troops besieging the Yanlong Empire were brought over again. Do you think you didn't die fast enough? So this matter did not cause much disturbance in the end, and it just ended in an anticlimactic manner. At this time, World of Warships, in the waters of the God-level Treasure Island. Qin Tian chatted with Li Yao and the others while waiting for the battleship's breakthrough to be completed. Beep beep. And at this moment, suddenly, a private message notification sounded in his mind. Open it and have a look. It was Nangongla who sent him a message. Boss, what's going on with you? We've already defeated the fleet of the Lot family and the pirate fleet, and we're about to land on the island. Qin Tian saw the content of this message, and responded with approval. Not bad, 2 victories in 2 games, there must be a lot of credit for you. Ha ha ha, no, it was General Zhang and Brother Lang Lai who directed it well. I just restore blood for everyone, make soy sauce, and paddle. Nangong happily sent a message. All right, regarding this girl's message, Qin Tian smiled and didn't say much, and directly sent a message to tell her, My treasure chest was found in a cave on the hillside of the island. You can ask General Zhang and the others to go there to take a look, but beware of those pirates attacking east and west, secretly stealing old warehouses and other methods. We were planning to attack the opponent's base camp at the time, but those pirates insisted on splitting up a team of nearly 200 people to attack my warship at the port. If I hadn't stayed, it's really dangerous if you fall behind. Oh, by the way, there may still be heavy weapons for coastal defense on the island. I have anti-aircraft missiles at North 57, 89, West 103, and 61. Why don't you bomb a few areas with missiles? See if there are any windfalls. Qin Tian told the other party all about what happened on his side and where he found the treasure chest. In order to prevent Zhang Zongjun and the others from searching around like headless chickens when they go to the island. In case of being attacked by those pirates again, I will suffer a bit. That would really be a big loss. After all, the area of the God-level treasure island is really too big. If he hadn't had the handy reminder of a flat map, it is not so easy to find the Genesis-level treasure chest. And heard Qin Tian's narration. Nangongla was also surprised. Ah, is this island still so dangerous? She thought it was almost over after fighting the pirates in the sea. But who knows that the dangers on the island seem to be more troublesome than those in the sea. It can only be said that the reward of this double aircraft carrier is obviously not so easy to get. Nangong, you have a lot of missiles. I suggest you use missiles to bomb the center of the island first, to see if you can attract the defensive positions set up by the opponent. Qin Tian made his own suggestion and said, "Is that so? All right, Boss 0.7, I'll give you information after I finish the bombing." Nangong agreed obediently. Qin Tian waited for a few minutes. Received the other party's information. "Boss, you are really good at predicting things. Those pirates really intercepted my missiles, and I have already destroyed their defensive positions." A picture was sent immediately below. Qin Tian opened it and took a look. It was a magnified image of a radar scan of the island's surface. The same as he looked after the previous bombing. The area in the picture was also bombed beyond recognition. Missile launchers and the remains of corpses were scattered everywhere. Yes, be careful when you go to the island to search, and ask General Zhang and Leng Gao to keep more people watching the battleship. Qin Tian looked at it and nodded, then said in a commanding manner. "Understood, I'll go and tell them right now." After speaking, there was no movement. 68%. Chapter 342. The Eurasian Federation is going to do something again, everyone who was stunned by the nemesis. Hope they are all right. Qin Tian thought secretly in his heart. There are Zhang Zongjun and Leng Lai, two experienced generals leading the team. If you think about it, there will be no problem. Until 12:30 noon. Just when Qin Tian and the others were going to eat at the restaurant. Nangongla sent him a message. "Haha, boss, it's done. General Zhang and Brother Leng followed your advice and led 500 soldiers in two groups to search directly in the middle of the island. Although it was not the pirate base camp found on the mountainside, it was also they were found near a Danshui river not far away, and then led the team to outflank them and wipe them out." Qin Tian understood immediately when he saw this. Obviously, the topography of each of the 18 God-level treasure islands is different. But Zhang Zongjun and the others were very lucky. The searched pirate base camp happened to be in the central area of the island. Obviously this saved them a lot of trouble. "Boss, we are ready to return," General Zhang said, and received a message from the gods outside, saying that the fleet of the Lot family has made new moves. Nangongla continued to send him a message and said, "Huh, what happened to the Lot family? Didn't they just have 2 battleships and 2 battlecruisers destroyed by you?" Qin Tian asked curiously when he saw this message. During these 4 or 5 months, the Lot family has almost lost more than 6 top battleships of the battleship class. But even so, the other party still couldn't stop. This made Qin Tian have to admire the other party's business ability. Among the 2 battleships that we sunk this morning, one of them was the battleship of Oswald, who had just become the commander-in-chief of the Lotter family for less than 5 months. A new commander-in-chief was re-elected, and this time the candidate was Karl Lott, who came in with us. Nangongla sent the message and said, "Who?" When Qin Tian saw this message from Nangongla, his eyes suddenly widened. Is there no better direct descendant of the Lot family? To let that arrogant and domineering guy Karl manage the fleet of the Lotter family. Is this going to reignite a bloodbath in World of Warships? No wonder Zhang Zongjun was in a hurry to go back. In case the other party has a convulsion in the head. Take out the small treasury in hand to give the fleet under his hands a force-feeding upgrade. What if we directly get 5 or 6 battleships and a dozen battle cruisers? At that time, the defenseless Tianshu Island may not be able to defend the fleet of the Lot family with such a luxurious lineup. Just when Qin was blind, I saw Nangongla send him a message. I heard that after Karl became the commander-in-chief of the Lotter family's fleet, the first thing he did was to take out the supplies from the 4 warehouses of curry on the family island, and to improve the strength of the battleship for several god-chosen who had been loyal to their Lotter family for many years. 2 aircraft carriers, 4 battleships, and 8 battle cruisers were produced in an almost mature manner. What kind of rice? 2 aircraft carriers, 4 battleships, 8 battle cruisers. After seeing the numbers in the Nangong happy information, Qin Tian suddenly sucked in a breath of cold air. Although he knew that Karl wouldn't play cards according to common sense, he didn't expect the other party to be so courageous. Get out 2 aircraft carriers directly. This is really not treating materials as materials. Then you mean, that guy Karl has already led the fleet to set off. The target is Tianshu Island. Qin Tian sent a message to ask. No one is sure about this. Although they don't know where the opponent is going, General Zhang and Brother Leng are ready to fight directly with the opponent's fleet after rushing back. Nangong happily replied, "Can I go back and help?" Qin Tian asked. I asked General Zhang before, and he said that if you have time, you can go back and help defend the wave. Oh, by the way, General Zhang also asked me to inform you before, telling you not to occupy the island, because Duke it seems that there have been some small moves. General Zhang is worried that those guys from the Eurasian Federation will exchange coordinates, and then leak the location of your god-level treasure island. Nangongla hurriedly replied. It was not surprising that Qin Tian smiled lightly. He was just guarding against the opponent's move. That's why I didn't search for the island tablet to bind on the island just now. Okay, anyway, I'm not in a hurry for the next few days. I'll go back to Tianshu Island first to see what that guy Karl can do. Finished. He then chatted with the other party for a few more words before ending the communication. Had a great lunch at noon. Wait until more than 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The golden light of the battleship suddenly expanded rapidly. It expanded directly from more than 300 meters to 700 or 800 meters. When the golden light dimmed, Qin Tian, Li Yao and others who were on the deck were immediately stunned by the whole picture of the battleship in front of them. I saw that the goddess of Nemesis, which was upgraded to an aircraft carrier, has completely changed at this moment. A sturdy and tall ship island is stuck in the middle. A standard flight deck is designed on opposite sides. Is this actually an aircraft carrier with 2 flight decks? Li Yao and the others slowly had question marks on their foreheads. Looking around, you can see that there are 2 runways on each of the 2 decks. The length of the entire aircraft carrier is at least 800 or 900 meters. In the middle of the deck close to the ship island and the ship island, there are enough installation slots for the main guns, rocket launchers, and anti-aircraft naval guns. More slots for naval guns are also reserved on the platform below the deck. Such a peculiar heavy-fire aircraft carrier shape. Don't talk about Li Yao. Even Rui on the Phoenix and everyone watching in the live broadcast room couldn't help but widen their eyes. Wow. Wow, this is Qin Shen's aircraft carrier. How come there are 2 flight decks here? This is obviously an aircraft carrier with special properties. God Qin is so awesome that he still holds this trump card in his hand. Is this too big? Is the length of 800 or 900 meters telling all the enemies to fire and drop bombs at me? I think Qin Shen really lacked consideration this time. And what is this strange ship island? It is designed to be placed directly in the middle, because it is afraid that the pilot will not hit it when it lands, right? Let me go. Are you blind upstairs? I agree with you that the battleship is big and the most dazzling target, but I am speechless when you say that the carrier-based fighter jet hits it. Both runways are slanted to avoid it. On the ship island, the pilot drank fake wine and insisted on flying to the middle ship island. And it's World of Warships, a semi-digital model. Do you think it's so easy for carrier-based fighter jets to lose control? Indeed, in World of Warships, data and attributes are king, and accidents should not cause much loss. The viewers in the live broadcast room started talking at this moment. 68%. Chapter 343 Attack 0. The battleship weapon has been hacked. Hey, tell me, how much HP will Qin Tian's double-deck aircraft carrier have? If it has double attributes, will its HP be 150,000 to 60,000? Unexpected. A headshot of a blonde beauty suddenly asked such a question. Then the entire chat channel suddenly seemed to be stuck, and no one sent a message for a full 15 seconds. Oh, I bought it. This This shouldn't be that exaggerated, right? Woola, I think 150,000 to 60,000 is not enough. With the strength of the Qin Tian battleship, I feel that he must have 60,000 to 70,000 blood in the battleship period. Now that he breaks through to the aircraft carrier, the blood volume bonus is naturally more, coupled with the bonus brought about by the transformation of special blueprints and the surge of double attributes, more than 200,000 HP is not out of the question. Hiss. After seeing this Hairy Bear's sound analysis, all the people of the Eurasian Federation gasped involuntarily. Impossible, how could there be so much blood? Many people questioned in disbelief. What is the concept of more than 200,000 blood volume? Ordinary talent is already considered a good god's choice. After breaking through the battleship into a battleship, the blood is only 30,000 to 40,000. Although Qin Tian's current aircraft carrier is a big realm higher than the battleship, but directly 6 or 7 times more blood. It's also a little too unrealistic. Of course, some people guessed the biggest shortcoming of Nemesis. Zyba, so what if there is a lot of blood? Such a huge ship must be as slow as a turtle crawling. The speed of a classic car of more than 10 knots, once surrounded, it can only wait for death. As soon as this point of view comes out, immediately, many people nodded in agreement. Really, for such a large battleship, although Erhuang must have added a lot. But the requirements for power have also increased a lot. The general power may not be able to drive normally. Once you encounter a situation where you can't be beaten and are beaten by groups, that's really called every day should not be called the earth is not effective. Certainly, some people also thought of the bonus of double attributes. It's just that they don't think they can speed up much. And Qin Tian was indeed a little worried about this problem at first. It's just after he read the attribute panel of Goddess of Nemesis, immediately dispelled this doubt. However, although the speed has been resolved, but a more worrying question appeared for Qin Tian. That is, his battleship is completely gone. Name: Nemesis Small Attack Aircraft Carrier. Displacement: 133,900 tons. ER 869.2 times 41 times 13.6. Flight deck M 797x36. Carrier aircraft: 180ths. Health volume: 289,200. Attack: 0. Defense: 14,000. Strengthened fire control system. Power system: UQD 3100 gas turbine times 4. Speed: 26 plus 5 knots. Weapon system: none. Carrier aircraft: legendary Y-35 fighter times 2. Fire control radar orange. Strengthen the missile device. Enhance the radar system. Characteristics: a super aircraft carrier with super high blood volume, dual flight decks and battleship firepower. The stability of fighter planes will increase by 50% after takeoff and landing. Introduction. Do you think she is an aircraft carrier? No, she is a battleship. You think she is a battleship? Please find out the number of carrier-based aircraft of the 2 wings. In short, this is an aircraft carrier that can make waves at will without an aircraft carrier battle group. Ordinary advancement: 1.3 million low-quality wood, 1.5 million low-quality plastic, 900,000 low-quality nails, 1.1 million low-quality metal sheets, can be advanced to a medium-sized aircraft carrier normal. High-quality goods advanced: ordinary wood 900,000, ordinary plastic 1.1 million, ordinary nails 600,000, ordinary metal sheet 900,000, can be advanced into a medium-sized aircraft carrier excellent. Advanced advancement: 700,000 high-quality wood, 800,000 high-quality plastic, 500,000 high-quality nails, 700,000 high-quality metal sheets, can be advanced to a medium-sized aircraft carrier extreme advanced. Lie on. What happened? What about your own high-quality naval guns, missiles and near anti-aircraft guns? Could it be that it was swallowed up by the will of the planet? But it's not right either. Even those weapons that were given away for nothing when breaking through the battleship will be taken back. But the weapons that he opened are gone. Just when Qin Tian was secretly anxious, Tang Ming ran up suddenly, panting, and said to Qin Tian, "Captain, who, brother son asked me to call you, and I told you to go to the warehouse to have a look." Warehouse? What happened to the warehouse? Qin Tian suppressed the restlessness in his heart, and asked curiously. Tang Ming took a breath and said, after our warehouse has grown in size, suddenly there are a lot of naval guns and combat weapons in it for no reason. Let's go and have a look. Hearing Tang Ming's words, Qin Tian immediately walked to the cabin below the deck. When you come to the warehouse curry. Sure enough, all of his warships and armaments were inside. This confuses Qin Tian. Strangeness. These naval guns were not actively dismounted when the battleship broke through before. What happened this time? Qin Tian circled under the cabin full of curiosity. The cause of the problem was soon discovered. It turned out that the ammunition bays under the deck had all undergone major transfers after the battleship broke through into an aircraft carrier. That's why the rules of World of Warships had to take the initiative to uninstall. Many previous ammunition bays have now been automatically transformed into hangars and elevators. There is no way Qin Tian could only reinstall the armaments of these warships. Anyway, you can use your mind to control the movement. It doesn't take much. Subsequently, Qin Tian moved all the armaments of these warships to the deck. Then start installing door by door to the position of the weapon slot. The 2 Genesis-level main guns are naturally installed on the 2 flight decks, one in front and one in the back. The remaining ones were also installed one by him in turn. Until Zhao Nuohao at this time. Only the people in the studio noticed. This double-deck aircraft carrier actually has a lot of weapon slots for installing warship armaments. This directly confused everyone. Eyeballs dropped in shock. Oh my god, how is this possible? How can an aircraft carrier have so many weapon slots? My god, is this an aircraft carrier or a battleship? I just want to ask the person who said that the attack power is not very useful, how can I justify the scene in front of me? Play. Oh, Xiete, Qin Tian's previous naval artillery attack was abnormal enough, and now it has a double bonus. This round of artillery shells and missiles can directly hit hundreds of thousands of attack points up. Wahaha, Qin Shenyu approved. This time, even if those aircraft carriers with double attributes, the carrier-based aircraft will directly drive close to the carrier-based aircraft carrier to output. Outrageous, outrageous, but why am I so happy? Ha ha ha. 68%. Chapter 344 Li Yao wants to be a pilot. And Qin Tian's side. After installing all the weapon slots on the Nemesis aircraft carrier. But there is an orange quality dual AK 130mm naval gun and a Genesis quality dual 57mm naval gun left. No way. After all, the main weapon of an aircraft carrier is still based on carrier-based fighter jets. Being able to install so many warships and armaments is already considered against the sky. These 2 naval guns will be installed on the Phoenix at that time. After finishing these, Qin Tian looked at the first few items of his battleship's attribute panel again. I saw that the displacement that was originally 133,900 tons has now become 151,530 tons. The column with 0 attack power. TK 1486181548890. As for the situation of weapon system, none, it has also changed. Weapon system. Genesis class triple mounted Mk 406mm main naval gun ×2, legendary class triple mounted Mk 406mm main naval gun orange ×1, Genesis class Mk 73-203mm naval gun colorful ×1, mythical class Y1130 near anti-aircraft gun ×20, myth level 52 122mm rocket launcher red ×2, myth level Y15 anti-ship missile, Genesis level Y21 anti-ship missile. Call. After looking at his completely new Nemesis attribute panel. After Qin Tian took a deep breath. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but raised high, and 110 showed a satisfied smile. The double attribute is really powerful. This is the real crazy and cool hang. Don't talk about others. Even he, the owner of the battleship, was a little stunned by the blood volume, attack power and defense value of his battleship. Nearly 300,000 blood volume. The highest attack value is more than 154,000. Plus a defense power of up to 14,000. Can carry and fight. Proper hexagonal super battleship. As for the powertrain, which he was most worried about at the beginning. Also because of the bonus of double attributes and titles, there is no big problem for the time being. If it weren't for double the power, then his current speed plus the title bonus, I am afraid it is only 18 knots. But now with the bonus of the title, it can run 31 knots. It's okay too. Name. Look at the 2 legendary Y-35 fighter jets staying on the deck. Qin Tian directly opened his attribute panel. Find the title interface and click in. He remembered after getting out that Nemesis aircraft carrier. I can get the only title of legendary warship. Legendary Battleship, only Age 1, Attack plus 500, Blood Volume plus 2000, Defense plus 200. After wearing it, the cooling time of the battleship's armament is reduced by 10%, and the luck value is increased by 10%. I go. When you see the additional ability of this title. Qin Tian's eyes brightened instantly. This title is fine. It not only reduces the cooling time of the battleship armament, it can actually increase the lucky value by 10%. The title of Legendary Battleship is probably a top-notch existence among the only titles. But the only problem is that if you want to maintain these two states, you have to wear this title all the time. It made him want to be low-key, even if he wanted to be inconspicuous. But there is no way. Whether it is the filling cooling of the battleship's armament or the improvement of the luck value, it is a super practical and good attribute. So Qin Tian made a move. Immediately above the entire battleship's head appeared a dark golden title full of nobility. Regardless of the cooling time of the weapon, luck is also very important in combat. Don't you see the Little Devil's disaster starship Shifeng during World War II? That luck is like hanging up. Large and small have experienced countless naval battles in World War II. But there was no accident. From the beginning of the battle to the end, its luck made it the only one among the 82 battleships of the Little Devil that survived to the end. During the entire Pacific War, there were only 10 casualties in Shifeng County. And on the battlefield, the torpedo that was clearly aimed at the Yukikaze directly passed through its bottom, and directly hit the heavy cruiser Shintong that was guarded by it. In the Battle of Kakusu, except for the Yukikaze, the entire combined fleet including the super battleship Yamato was completely wiped out, and Yukikaze returned to the military port after salvaging the ordinary compatriots who fell into the water. As a result, as soon as I went back, I found a dud bomb that had not exploded in the rice warehouse. Certainly, if all this is not enough to show the importance of luck. Then look at another example. It was Lao Mi fighter planes bombing the Little Devil's military port. The Shifeng sailed out of the military port. But in a panic, he took the lead and ran to the mine area installed by his own people. As a result, the Shifeng sailed past, and the mines remained indifferent because of a problem with the fuse. On the Yukikaze, a few patches of paint were rubbed off on the bottom. But when the destroyer Hatsushimo behind it encountered those mines, those who were bombed directly sank into the sea without even knowing their own mothers. This shows how important luck is on the battlefield. It's just that I only want this kind of luck. You don't want to hinder your teammates like the opponent. Qin Tian was suspicious for a while. At that time, the Little Devil's biggest reliance on naval power might have been so cheated by the Shifeng. Just when Qin Tian's thoughts diverged, Li Yao saw that he was done. He appeared behind Qin Tian with two younger brothers with curious expressions on his face. "Captain, is this our aircraft carrier?" Hearing Li Yao's voice, Qin Tian turned his head to look at his right-hand man, and said with a slight smile on his face, "That's right, this is our future aircraft carrier, how about it? Is it handsome?" "Handsome is quite handsome, but why does this aircraft carrier put the island in the middle?" Li Yao asked helplessly. "After all, no matter how you look at it, it looks like a security risk." "Haha, who knows, this is what it looks like after the consumption blueprint is transformed." Qin Tian shrugged and replied, "But this is the case, then how do we train new pilots in the future? We can't wait to rescue the crew from the sea, right? That's too slow, and who can be sure that there will be pilots who will be rescued?" Li Yao said with an expression that I was doing it for the good of the captain. Qin Tian, looking at the other party's bright and beautiful eyes that implied cunning. He suddenly said dumbfounded, "Captain Li, you don't tell me that you want to learn to fly a fighter jet." And being punctured, Li Yao was not embarrassed, and said directly, "Oh, Captain, I am also working hard to improve the strength of our warship." The corner of Qin Tian's mouth twitched, and he said, "No, Captain Li, can it be that the grenade gun and the Gatling heavy machine gun in your hand can no longer satisfy your appetite?" "No, the main reason is that recently I found that my learning ability has improved a lot, and coupled with the teaching of that ace mechanic, Yurui, maybe I can become a pilot with excellent skills if I don't need to study for a week." "Woolen cloth," Li Yao said with a smile. 68%. 340th chapters. What is broken? No problem crashing. The speaker has no intention, but the listener has intention. Li Yao said so. A flash of inspiration suddenly appeared in Qin Tian's mind. Yes, why didn't I think of it myself? Although he can't get pilots who can fly in large quantities like those big capitalists and the military. But there is such a great god as Yurui. In addition, it has the characteristics of the Phoenix aircraft carrier. He can completely go out and train a group of pilots by himself, come on. Think here. Qin Tian immediately nodded and agreed to the other party's request. Okay, your proposal is really good. Since you are so interested, then I will let Rui come to teach you when the time comes. How much you can learn depends on your own ability gone. Huh, Captain, you agree. Li Yao was a little confused. It seems that Qin Tian did not expect Qin Tian to agree so happily. After all, studying as a halfway monk like her will definitely be very troublesome. Maybe she has to destroy several fighter jets. Isn't your own captain worried at all? Well, Captain, are you not afraid that I will destroy the fighter plane? After all, Li Yao held back and asked curiously. Don't talk about breaking it, you'll be fine even if you crash the plane directly. But facing Li Yao's question, the corners of Qin Tian's mouth raised slightly, and Ji Yao was instantly captivated by what he said. Li Yao rolled her eyes angrily. Ha ha ha. Seeing this, Qin Tian raised his head and smiled a few times, then returned to the control room. Hong Bao, control the battleship and let's leave here. Once in the control room, Qin Tian gave Chu Hongbao an order and said, Ah, Captain, don't we occupy this island? Chu Hongbao asked with some doubts. Go back to Tianshu Island first, we may need our support there, and there may be a big battle. Qin Tian said to Chu Hongbao. Anyway, he has nothing to do right now. It must be too early to occupy the god-level treasure island now. In case he builds this island by then the big capitalists of the Eurasian Federation pulled the military fleets of several countries to coerce him. Even if he can temporarily avoid the edge and run away. But the buildings on the island will definitely lose a lot. So instead of being so anxious, might as well go out and take a turn first. When the time is almost up, come back and see which force will occupy your own island. Wouldn't it be nice to reap the opponent's wave by yourself at that time? And at that time, the prestige of his goddess of Nemesis should be quickly established in the next battle. Presumably, there will be much fewer Eurasian Federation forces who dare to trouble him again by then. And I heard Qin Tian said that there might be a fight. Zhu Li's eyes lit up instantly. Then Chu Hongbao said, Captain, you can rest assured and leave it to me. After speaking, he found out the coordinates of Tianshu Island that he had already collected, and started to launch the battleship to set sail. Captain, there is a communication from Phoenix. At this time, Zhu Li suddenly turned his head and said to Qin Tian. Hearing this, Qin Tian walked over with his mouth slightly curled up, and said, Take it here. Follow Zhu Li to press the connect button. Yao Ming's face appeared directly on the screen. Good morning, Captain. As soon as Yao Lang saw Qin Tian, he immediately greeted Qin Tian respectfully. Qin Tian nodded. What did you say? Is there any urgent matter for the sudden contact at this time? Yao Lang shook his head when he heard the words and said, No, it's Master Rui who said he wanted to go and see Nemesis. Qin Tian smiled and said, Is there still a need to report? You ask Ah Chen to bring the Phoenix over, and let him jump over directly. Clear. Yao Lang nodded, immediately hung up the communication. And Qin Tian also greeted Zhu Li and the others and walked out. And the audience in the live broadcast room didn't seem to slow down much after seeing the Nemesis. Just dumbfounded. Wang De provokes fake. What's going on? Why hasn't the speed of this aircraft carrier slowed down at all? Oh, Xie Te, this is too ridiculous. In this case, wouldn't this Yanlong man have almost no shortcomings? Damn it, with so much HP, the guns and anti-aircraft power of the battleship body have doubled again, and the speed hasn't dropped much now. Couldn't this invincible attribute not stimulate those high-level officials to apologize and negotiate a peace? Just when there was a commotion in the live broadcast room. It didn't take a while. Qin Tian saw Phoenix quickly catching up, sailing side by side with the Nemesis at a distance of 7 or 8 meters. Rui took a good look at the foothold and jumped from there. It fell directly in front of Qin Tian easily. 0 Ask for flowers 0.0125031065 Filu 2131211011. Captain, see Qin Tian. Rui respectfully said hello. Ha ha ha, you came just in time, I just wanted to find you. Qin Tian patted Rui on the shoulder with a smile and said, Come on, let's take a tour of our Nemesis aircraft carrier, and your fighter planes will come here to take off and land next. Hear Qin Tian's words. Rui nodded and said, Okay, no problem. Actually for him, the fighter jets are the same everywhere. It's just that eating and living conditions here will definitely be relatively more convenient and superior than the Phoenix. From this deck, the two quickly walked to the edge of the island, connecting the two decks, on a passage several meters wide. Then Rui looked at Qin Tian and said suddenly, "Captain, I think we should increase the number of carrier aircraft. I only have one fighter. It's okay if we encounter 40 or 50 fighters, but if the enemy's fighters exceed 610, I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to take into account the safety of our battleship." Point 0. Ray spoke out what he cared about. Qin Tian nodded when he heard the words, and said, "I have also discovered this problem. Don't worry, I have 10 high-quality drawings of UCAVs here, and I will make these 10 UCAVs by then, and their control is in your hands, and you make do with it first." 10 high-quality UCAVs. Hearing Qin Tian's words, Rui couldn't help showing a little smile on his face. There are 10 UCAVs to help him. Wait until you encounter the enemy's massive air wing. Then his combat pressure will definitely be relatively reduced a lot. As for the control of the 10 fighters handed over to him, it was a complete trifle. The two chatted for a few more words. Rui suddenly leaned forward and looked at the protruding platform below which Qin Tian installed two mythical Y-1130 close-in anti-aircraft guns, then turned his head to look at the angular ship island around him, and asked Qin Tian, "Captain, why is the island of this aircraft carrier designed in the middle? Wouldn't this cause a safety hazard?" Regarding the topic that was almost the same as Li Yao asked, Qin Tian said with a smile, "No way, that's how people's drawings are designed. What can we do, but you don't have to worry about safety issues. This warship and fighter plane are equipped with 50% stability, so as long as the technology is similar, there will definitely be no problems." 69%. Chapter 346 Strengthening the Phoenix, can it revive the 6th generation fighter? Hearing Qin Tian's words, Rui suddenly nodded, dispelling the doubts in his heart. 50% stability. As long as the pilot has more or less basic flying knowledge and skills, there is this additional stability. There will definitely not be any major problems with takeoff and landing. Oh, yes, Ray. The two walked along the passage on the side of the island to another deck. Qin Tian looked at Rui and said, "Li Yao said that her learning ability has skyrocketed recently. She just came to me and said that she wanted to learn how to fly a fighter jet from you. What do you think? Can you hand her over to her?" "Sure," but in the face of Qin Tian's inquiry, Rui happily agreed. "No problem at all. I wish we could have more pilots in our fleet. Captain, you let her learn. As long as that girl has a bright mind, I guarantee that she will be able to master the basics in a week. Air combat technology." 390. Okay, after breaking through the aircraft carrier, I gave away 2 legendary fighter jets for free, and let her use them for practice. Qin Tian nodded and said very supportively. And in the live broadcast room, everyone who heard this sentence was numb. My God Qin is so stupid, the legendary fighters are only used to practice for the crew. I feel that what Rushan said is indeed reasonable. Qinshan really needs to manufacture more carrier-based fighters. Relying on Rushan alone, even if the operation is against the sky, facing the crowd tactics of hundreds or thousands of fighters, it is impossible. It will definitely be hard to beat with 2 fists and 4 hands. Don't worry, this breakthrough has reached the aircraft carrier, and Qin Shen will definitely build his own carrier-based aircraft battle group next, so we definitely don't need to worry about this. By the way, God Qin doesn't really plan to let Goddess Yao learn to fly a fighter, does she? Although Goddess Yao is very powerful in combat, are you sure she can learn to fly a fighter? Should be no problem. You must know that under Qin Shendu's hands, there are only Rui Shen and Yao Goddess, 2 talented crew members who are at SS rank and S rank respectively. No matter what, Qin Shendu can't break his arms and use Goddess Yao's life to make a joke of. There was a lively discussion in the live broadcast room. After Qin Tian took Rui around the Nemesis for a circle. Then he took Rui and jumped to the Phoenix in a long jump. And moved the 2 naval guns with his mind. Then installed the remaining dual AK 130mm orange quality naval guns and the Genesis-class dual 57mm naval guns of the Nemesis in the rare weapon slots on the Phoenix Superior. After doing this, next, it is naturally time for the Phoenix to fully utilize its characteristics. Qin Tian used Divine Detective Technique to open the attribute panel of Phoenix. The current feature of Phoenix can only revive fighters of the 3rd generation or below. A 5th generation fighter like Rui. It is estimated that advanced enhancement must be carried out. Undead nature, but Qin Tian's next plan is the most crucial magical skill. So Qin Tian has to upgrade it to the point where it can revive the 5th generation machine anyway. Think here. Qin Tian chose Advanced Enhancement without hesitation. Advanced Strengthening Phoenix aircraft carrier requires 500,000 high-quality wood, 600,000 high-quality plastic, 400,000 high-quality nails, and 400,000 high-quality metal sheets. Do you want to strengthen it? Strengthen. Qin Tian took a deep breath, nodded and said. A golden light flashed along the entire battleship. Phoenix directly expanded 3 or 4 circles at a speed that could be discerned by the naked eye. With a trace of tension and anticipation in my heart, Qin Tian directly used divine detective technique to open the attribute panel of the battleship under his feet. Name: Phoenix Small Auxiliary Aircraft Carrier. Displacement: 77,100 tons. Main scale M 283.5 times 31 times 9.3. Flight deck M 256.5 times 29. Carrier aircraft 171st. Health volume 75,500. T 4809-5658. Defense 3,100. Fire control system. Power system. HJ, SJ3 steam turbine times 6. Speed 29 knots. Weapon system. Dark Shark Type 34,381 mm naval gun purple times 4, 20 mm close and anti-aircraft gun blue times 24. Fire control radar. Radar system. Characteristics. Immortality. After applying immortality to the attack aircraft carrier, all carrier aircraft and pilots on the attack aircraft carrier can be resurrected within 1 hour. Note: the first resurrection is free every day. The more times and quantities of resurrection, the more needed, the more materials you have. You can only revive fighters of the 6th generation and below, and the cooling time is 10 minutes. 1. Introduction. A top-level auxiliary aircraft carrier with immortality, which can add immortality to attack aircraft carriers within a short distance. When I saw that undead nature could be resurrected to a 6th generation fighter, a hearty smile appeared on Qin Tian's face immediately. This is definitely a surprise. Evening. Yu Dai cooked a super rich meal to celebrate the successful breakthrough of Nemesis. Then he found Qin Tian, who was observing mythical grade amethyst dragon tooth rice in the planting cabin, and asked, Captain, should we share the food with Phoenix, or let them come over to eat? Quote. Qin Tian thought for a while and said, let them come and eat. Anyway, after this period of food fortification and some run-ups, it is still very easy for Elisa and the others to jump more than 10 meters away. Think of it as exercising before meals. Just in time, let those crew members visit the aircraft carrier of the Nemesis to satisfy their curiosity. After all, he was on the Phoenix in the afternoon. However, I have often heard the curious comments of the crew on the double-deck Nemesis. A group of people eat a meal with relish and enjoyment. Now the lowest loyalty of all crew members on the 2 aircraft carriers is die-hard loyalty. A small number of people even reach the level of fanaticism. So there is no faction dispute between them. They are all loyal factions who only believe in Qin Tian wholeheartedly. Eat and drink enough. 1.2. Just when Elisa organized the crew on the Phoenix to return, Qin Tian stopped them just in time, and said to a group of people, Elisa, you don't need to go back in a hurry. You can take a tour on the Nemesis. I think many people are very curious about this ship in the afternoon. The double-deck aircraft carrier just satisfies everyone's curiosity. Ah, Elisa was stunned for a moment when she heard the words, and then her eyes lit up brightly and she asked, God Qin, is it really possible? Qin Tian smiled and nodded, and said, although it's getting dark now, there are enough lights on the 2 aircraft carriers, so don't worry about the problem of sightlines. Go ahead and show everyone around. Digest it after the meal. Haha, good God Qin. Elisa happily agreed. Then he brought a group of people onto the deck. Swim back and forth between the 2 decks. 69%. Chapter 347. 6 major forces join the battle. See the world boss again. Ride the wind and waves, all the way forward. The 2 aircraft carriers have been sailing at sea for 3 days. During these 3 days, Zhang Zongjun informed Qin Tian. It has been confirmed that the Lot family did not know how much it cost. Received assistance from the 4 capital families, the Lighthouse Empire Military Department, and the Royal Navy on which the sun never sets. From the mouth of the gods, I learned that the number and quality of the fleet that came to attack this time may be more terrifying and huge than the last time the Eurasian Federation fleet attacked Waishu Island. Qin Tian was also very speechless about this. Can't help cursing that guy Carl is really crazy. I don't know how much profit the Lot family made when they sold the coordinates of the God-level treasure island. Carl has just spent a lot of resources to advance 2 aircraft carriers, 4 battleships, and 8 battlecruisers under the hands of the chosen who are loyal to their family. In the blink of an eye, they got the support of the 4 capital clans, the Lighthouse, and the Sun Never Set, 2 of the most powerful imperial military departments of God's chosen. Qin Tian didn't believe that these 6 forces would provide free assistance to the Lot family for the sake of being in the same alliance camp. It's probably because Carl Lot spent a huge amount of supplies that they couldn't refuse. That's why they were invited to help out. This is no longer a waste of money. And 06 is properly pouring out the curry's supplies like opening a gate to release water. I don't know how those people in the Lotter family would feel in reality. 2 or 3 years of family business accumulated through hard work. It was just squandered by Carl, who just took office. It is estimated that there are not many materials left in Curry's warehouse in the Lotter family. But you can understand it if you think about it. The double attribute flight club that originally belonged to the aircraft carrier of the Lot family was cut off by Zhang Zongjun and the others. It's no wonder the Lotter family isn't crazy. It was only facing the situation that several major forces went to besiege the island of the Yanlong Empire. Qin Tian has nothing to do now. His island is more than 10 days away from Li Tianshu Island. There is a high probability that it is impossible to arrive in time. However, Zhang Zongjun has also made two-handed preparations. That is, he let his confidant quartermaster guard the warehouse curry. Once the time comes, I really can't beat it. Then they will give up Tianshu Island first. Trade all these materials to Huang Zishang, who is currently sitting on Tianshuan Island. The Imperial Army is the most convenient for this. Materials are publicly owned. As long as there are many generals, there are many islands. Then when encountering such a critical juncture, you can trade large quantities of materials on the island without hesitation. Trade it to other generals without worrying about the materials being embezzled. It's not enough for a big capitalist family with only one island. Because all their materials are privately owned. Only the family commander-in-chief has the right to use these materials at will. As for others, even relatives of the commander-in-chief, that also requires permission before it can be used in a small amount. So in this case, the top executives of most capitalist families are actually very selfish. After all, closeness is different. How much affection can relatives who have not seen each other for 800 years have? This point alone freed Zhang Zongjun and the others from a lot of restraints, allowing them to adapt to the situation and formulate battle plans for themselves according to the situation. So after hearing that Zhang Zongjun had left behind, Qin Tian also let go of his heart. Don't worry too much anymore. But today is sunny and sunny. Li Yao, who has learned how to fly a fighter jet for 3 days, said that today she wants to relax for a morning. So Qin Tian organized this barrel hook competition. Qin Tian stood on the deck. The crew members of the combat team, such as Zhe Rui, Li Yao, and Yan Jian, each have a rope hook. From time to time, they will throw out the rope hook in their hands. Hook up the material barrels floating in the sea. See who can salvage the most material barrels within an hour. The winner can receive 1 more fruit from Yuhai every day. Although the lottery is not big, but what everyone is playing is an atmosphere. So it's still kind of interesting. And just as Qin Tian hooked another wooden barrel, while pulling back happily, he opened the plane map and wanted to check the surrounding situation. Suddenly, at the edge of the 10 o'clock position, he saw a huge red sea beast pattern. Stop. Looking at the crocodile pattern that is 3 or 4 circles larger than the sea beast pattern on any flat map I have seen before. Excitement flashed in Qin Tian's eyes and he said to several people, "Stop playing, if you find a big guy, hurry up and get ready, we'll meet it." I heard Qin Tian say that. The eyes of the rest of the people lit up. Then he put away the rope hook in his hand and went to prepare. And Qin Tian quickly came to the control room. He said to Chu Hongbao, "Hongbao, move forward at 10 o'clock, there is a sea beast boss there." Hearing Qin Tian's words, Chu Hongbao's spirit was shocked immediately. After shouting, "Understood," he began to turn the rudder and sail quickly in the direction Qin Tian was pointing at. "Zula, contact Yao Lang and the others, tell them that there is a large ocean boss appearing at 10 o'clock, let them prepare for battle." After giving Chu Hongbao the order, Qin Tian immediately said to Zula, "Yes, Captain." Zula responded and began to operate. Soon, Yao Lang's figure appeared on the screen. "Alang, ask Chen to follow us. The captain found a large sea beast boss at 10 o'clock. Get ready for battle." After seeing Yao Ming's figure, he immediately described Qin Tian's partner. Large sea beast boss. Okay, no problem. Yao Lang immediately became excited when he heard it. Qin Tian sat on the bridge chair, raised his voice, and said with a smile, Alang, this time there is a high probability that it will be the world's Bo 110 SS class sea beast again. There will be so many warships at that time, let Ah Chen take the helm and follow closely. Alright, aim at our own battleship when launching the characteristic skill, don't put the wrong battleship. Qin Tian added with a chuckle. Ha ha ha, okay, Captain, you can rest assured. Yao Lang also said with a light smile, as the battleship continued to approach. After about half an hour, from a distance, they saw a dark brown object floating quietly on the sea surface like a stone on the embankment. Such a thing of unknown origin floats so abruptly in the huge ocean. Immediately attracted the attention of Zula and the others. Captain, the sea beast boss you mentioned, couldn't it be the long strip of rocks in the distance? Zula asked very uncertainly. And Qin Tian glanced at the huge crocodile icon that was almost on top of it. Nemesis nodded immediately, and said with certainty, Congratulations, you got the answer right, be careful, that's the back of a crocodile, the other party should be basking in the sun right now. Crocodile. No wonder, Captain, we have to attack from such a distance. When he kissed Qin Tian, Zula suddenly realized, and then continued to ask. And Qin Tian thought of the last time he encountered the ocean boss Nigist at sea. If the other party really wants to rush to them, when it reaches a certain distance, the will of the planet will directly deal with it. 69%. Chapter 348. The Ancient Dinosaur King with 15 million HP. As for how to know if this sea beast is qualified to become a world boss, it's actually really easy. First look at the body shape. The second is to look at the blood volume. According to the icon of the flat map, in several world bosses that Qin Tian encountered, it seems that this crocodile is the largest. On this point alone, it is almost inseparable. As for blood volume, think here. Qin Tian threw a divine detective technique towards the long back. Name: Ancient Dinosaur King. Health volume: 15 million, 15 million. What kind of rice? 15 million blood. When you see this amount of blood, Qin Tian himself couldn't help but sucked in a breath of cold air. Those sea beast bosses with 5 to 6 million HP have already reached hundreds of meters in size. Then how huge is this ancient dinosaur king with a blood volume of 15 million? Fortunately, they are still more than 10 kilometers away from each other at the moment. There shouldn't be much of a problem. Think here. Qin Tian immediately nodded to Zula and Dong Zhuang and said, Do it, to provoke the other party. This guy should be a world boss. When he gets close to us and reaches a certain level, he should be directly forced to sleep by the will of the planet, and then enter a different space. Open the world boss challenge, so give it a few shots to lure it over. Hear Qin Tian's words. Zula and Dong Zhuang nodded in agreement. Then control the naval guns and missiles to aim. Facing the 100-meter long strip, he pressed the fire control button. Boom boom boom. Shish. Instantly, the naval gun roared across the sky. Violent explosions and flames began to explode on that long back one after another. Roar. For a while, smoke and dust billowed, and flames splashed in all directions. With a dull growl, the back, as hard as iron, began to sway from side to side. Then the back began to float up slowly, and the exposed area became larger and larger. Soon a huge crocodile with a length of almost 300 or 400 meters exposed its entire upper body. After seeing the two warships on Qin Tian's side, Ancient Dino-Crocodile King swimmed his tail and swam towards this side with a roar. When the distance between the two sides is about a few kilometers, the reminder of the will of the planet rang as Qin Tian expected. Ding! Congratulations to Qin Tian, the chosen one of the Yanlong Empire, for discovering the traces of the world boss, the ancient dinosaur king, and will be rewarded with an epic material treasure chest. Hear about this reward. Qin Tian was also slightly surprised. Because if memory serves, when he discovered the ocean boss Nigist, planet will just rewarded him with a high-level blue treasure chest. Unexpectedly, this ancient Dino-Crocodile king was directly given an epic treasure chest. It can be seen how strong this ancient Dino-Crocodile king is. At this time, the grand voice of the planets will continue to resound throughout the entire world of warships. 5 minutes later, the challenge of the world boss ancient Dino-Crocodile king will start. Please enter the portal to face the chosen ones. The battle time is 15 minutes. Friendly reminder, during the event period, the God Chosen are prohibited from attacking each other, and at the same time, pay attention to avoiding the attack of the world boss Ancient Dinosaur King. If the ship is destroyed, or the blood volume is cleared, the God Chosen will follow die. This time, the top 3 God Chosen who have the most damage to the world boss Ancient Dinosaur King will receive generous rewards. The first place will receive a creation level treasure chest reward, the second place will receive a myth level treasure chest reward, and the third place will obtain a gold level chest reward. The top 10 can get an epic level treasure box reward, the top 100 can get a high level treasure box reward, the top 1000 can get a green treasure box reward, and the rest can get a participating treasure box reward. Please God's Chosen, get ready for battle. With the voice of the planet's will, it fell. The ancient Dinosaur King, which was still a few kilometers away from the nemesis, fell silent in an instant. And in the world chat channel, after hearing the beep of the will of the planet, all the chosen ones immediately exploded. Fake. It's another creation level treasure chest. This time it won't be Qin Tian who wins the championship, right? Probably not. Several bigwigs in our Eurasian Federation gained double attributes when they broke through the aircraft carrier. This time, this creation level treasure chest must belong to the big boss Reese. Hey, let me tell you, have you forgotten our goddess Cecily? I heard that goddess Cecily has raised that special main cannon to the creation level quality by some means. I dare believe that this time goddess Cecily is sure to shine. What? The main naval gun has been upgraded to the Genesis grade quality. It's amazing. My goddess, doesn't that mean that the damage of this single naval gun alone can match the sum of the damage of several other naval guns? Hey, don't make random guesses, just go in and have a look. Aircraft carriers are not battleships or cruisers. They don't have enough carrier-based fighter jets to support them. Double attributes can only make the aircraft carrier's blood more resistant to beating. I don't care about the chat content in the world chat channel. Qin Tian looked at ancient Dinosaur King, who seemed to be asleep in the distance. He said directly to Chu Hongbao, Hongbao, control the battleship backwards, let's increase the distance to 5 kilometers. In Qin Tian's view, the world boss in front of him has 15 million blood. There is no one who can't beat the opponent in 10 minutes. And his goddess of Nemesis has thick blood and high defense, but there is no need to fight hard in the front in order to collect the opponent's flesh and teeth. Yes, Captain. Facing the order given by Qin Tian, Chu Hongbao did as he was told. Directly control the warship and sail away after turning around. Phoenix, the aircraft carrier, immediately followed after seeing this. Hello, Wang. At this time, warships have begun to enter this alien space one after another. As those chosen by God regain consciousness, then they quickly noticed Qin Tian's goddess of Nemesis with the title of Legendary Battleship not far away. The peculiar double-deck ship shape instantly attracted everyone's attention. For a moment, the eyes of countless people were all dumbfounded. Water jerk. What's that? Is that an aircraft carrier? Oh my god, why is there such an aircraft carrier? Are those 2 flight decks cheating? I'll go, Qin Shen Niubi, 2 flight decks. Wouldn't that mean that the capacity of Qin Shen's carrier-based aircraft is directly equivalent to the capacity of 2 aircraft carriers? Ha ha ha, Zyba, you really laughed me to death. The ship island design is in the middle. Is this design serious? For a moment, some of the chosen ones around were amazed, while others laughed. 69%. Chapter 349 Military Promotion, Angry Cyril. In the eyes of many people, the coolness of the double-deck design of the aircraft carrier in front of me is really cool. But designing the ship island in the middle of the 2 decks is definitely pure cerebral palsy design. Is this for fear that the pilot will not have a flight accident? And when people are talking about it, several warships suddenly appeared out of thin air in an open area. One of them was 350 to 60 meters long, and the aircraft carrier with multiple fighter jets on the flight deck instantly attracted the attention of countless gods chosen. It's like seeing the painting of the Nemesis on the double-deck aircraft carrier and knowing that it is the battleship of the Yanlong Empire Qin Tian. After seeing the painting of the Liberty Freedom on this aircraft carrier, all the chosen ones know that this aircraft carrier is the warship of Cecily, the eldest daughter of the Adams family. And the Freedom aircraft carrier paused slightly. Then he took several warships beside him and sailed towards Qin Tian's side quickly. See this scene. Qin Tian smiled. Get up and leave the control room, came to the deck. Hi Qin, long time no see. God Qin, long time no see. Saw him come out. Cecily, who slowly parked the battleship in front of his battleship, greeted him happily with Vanessa on the deck. Qin Shen, what kind of aircraft carrier is this 123? This appearance is too good looking. Vanessa looked at Qin Tian's aircraft carrier. He said with a gleam in his eyes. Qin Tian shook his head, spread his hands and said, I don't know, anyway, after the consumption blueprint is made, it will have this shape, double decks, can carry many fighter jets, and the name of this aircraft carrier is Nemesis. No, I was too lazy to think of a name myself, so I simply used the name of this aircraft carrier directly. God Qin, you are too casual. Vanessa was speechless when she heard Qin Tian say this. It turns out that the famous #1 captain in the world of warships is actually a difficult household. Hee, this aircraft carrier of yours is very unique, Jail. Why can you install so many warships on this aircraft carrier? Just when Qin Tian was chatting with Cecily's second daughter, Zhang Zongjun, Leng Lai and Nangong La also gathered together. Behind them followed a battleship. Standing on the deck of the battleship was a half-centenarian man with a straight figure, short gray hair, and a somewhat pale face. Qin Tian, who had watched the Space-Time live broadcast for 2 years, naturally recognized the other party at a glance. Zhang Lengwang, Huang Zishang, the last of the 3 generals of the Yanlong Navy. And just started teasing Qin Tian. Naturally, it is Cold and Cold who has the best relationship with Qin Tian. Haha, brother Leng, long time no see. Qin Tian greeted them with a smile. Come, Xiao Qin, let me introduce you. Zhang Zongjun pointed to Huang Zishang and said, this is another general of our Yanlong Navy, Huang Zishang, General Huang. Hello, General Huang, I have watched your live broadcast a lot. Qin Tian smiled and bowed slightly to show his respect. The veteran, who is over half a century old, avenged Leng Lai in the later stage. But there is no shortage of wits and courage with the little devil. Even to create fighter planes for Nangong La. Even at the risk of taking the initiative to expose the coordinates, dozens of destroyers and 3 cruisers of the Sakura Empire were killed. In the previous life, it is already a very good record to be able to sink dozens of destroyers and 3 cruisers of the little devil. Ha, General Qin is over-reputed. I have heard of General Qin's name for a long time. Today's meeting really deserves his reputation. If my Yanlong Empire can have a few more young heroes like General Qin, why worry about the prosperity of my family and country? 11. Huang Zishang said with a very kind smile. And Qin Tian heard the other party calling him to go, General. Suddenly I was a little confused. Blinked twice. First, I watched Zhang Zongjun, Leng Lai, and Nan La. Seeing that all 3 of them were smiling, his heart moved slightly, and he looked at the 3 of them and said, this is, the higher-ups gave me a promotion again. Leng gave a thumbs up and said, then it must be promoted, if not, I have to be in a hurry with them. This time, it was the coordinates you gave us to the Yanlong Navy, which allowed Laozhong to successfully obtain the double-attribute aircraft carrier. If such a great contribution is not given to you, how can you convince the officers and men under AGFG? Ha, your boy has developed this time. In World of Warships, besides Laozhong, you are still the 2nd admiral. He is taller than mine. You can take care of your brother in the future. Quote, Qin Tian couldn't help rolling his eyes when he heard the words, what do you care about? I agreed in advance that I won't take up the post, and I have to develop my own treasure island when the time comes. It was said by Qin Tian. Leng Lai suddenly smiled wryly and shook his head, you really are, kid. Others are eager to hold some real power in their hands, but you are better, just like our Imperial Navy is a wild beast and pushes desperately. Qin Tian shrugged his shoulders, and raised the corner of his mouth, no way, who made me yearn for the freedom of the stars and the sea. With a cold shout, he gestured a middle finger towards him. Congratulations, Doctor. Congratulations, God Qin. After Cecily and Vanessa heard the news, they also congratulated Qin Tian one after another. In their opinion, Qin Tian's strength is so outstanding. Not to mention the general, even the marshal is not incompetent. And in the distance, David Cyril's battleship also entered the alien space of the world boss at this time. At this time, there are hundreds of thousands of gods chosen here. Although so far, 99 out of 10 gods chosen have not won the title of the only level. But titles such as First Blood, 100 Fighters, and Battlefield Pioneer are relatively easy to obtain. And among these densely packed warships and titles, David saw the Phoenix aircraft carrier not far away from him at a glance. Compared to when he was in Uncle Brand's hands, at this time, the Phoenix was bigger than 3 laps. Whether it is the hull structure or the metal material, it is obvious that signs of strengthening can be seen. He knew that this was Qin Tian's mysterious innate skill. It is precisely because of the existence of this skill. That's why the gap between the chosen ones of the big capital families and their opponents is getting wider and wider. Taking a deep breath, he looked away. Soon, I saw the uniquely shaped double-deck aircraft carrier with a dark gold legendary battleship title on its head. After seeing the painting of the Nemesis on the aircraft carrier, David's fist clenched instantly. The bones and joints have become a little white due to excessive force. Just because of this guy, almost all the elite chosen of his Cyril family were killed or injured. Even supplies are not much left. Even if he wants to cultivate a few battleship confidants, it will be difficult to do so. In the end, only 5 cruisers were produced. This time he took 5 cruisers and dozens of destroyers. Originally, he wanted to win the God-level treasure island set by their family. Then he advanced smoothly, became a double-attribute aircraft carrier and changed his life against the sky. But who would have thought that it would not be defeated because of insufficient strength? In David's opinion, this is simply a shame and a shame. 69%. Chapter 350. Eyeball shocking horror damage. Thinking of him, the Cyril family is also one of the top capitalist families in Blue Star. In the past 2 years in the world of warships, he can also call the wind and call the rain. But this time because of Qin Tian's invasion. It directly led to the strength of the family fleet returning to before liberation. Now even an NPC island is powerless to win. How could this kind of humiliation be accepted by David Cyril? After all, it was broad daylight when he attacked the God-level treasure island. But it was watched by hundreds of millions of people in the live broadcast room. That face is not as big as usual. And it wasn't just him at this time. In the distance, Reese Duke looked at Qin Tian's group. The corners of his mouth were also tightly pursed, and his eyes were filled with cold killing intent. It's just that in the depths of this cold killing intent, there is still a trace of inexplicable banter. The challenge of the world boss Ancient Crocodile King will start in 3 seconds, please prepare for the battle. And just when Qin Tian was chatting happily, the prompt sound of the will of the planet suddenly sounded. It turned out to be unknowingly. 5 minutes of prep time has passed. 3, 2, 1. Challenge begins. With the voice of the planet's will, it fell. I saw the world boss, the ancient Dinosaur King, who was still forced to sleep just now, woke up so abruptly. Then with a low growl, his body several hundred meters away swam towards a nearby area densely populated by God's chosen as quickly as lightning. This scene frightened the chosen ones in that area to instantly change their faces. They ordered their crews to fire quickly. It will be forced back. Boom boom boom. Shish. For a while, countless shells and missiles were vented crazily as if they didn't want money. Soon the area where Ancient Crocodile King was located was bombarded with waves of water and flames. But it is this intensive attack like a storm. The attack was on Ancient Dinosaur King's back that was as hard as iron, but the damage was pitifully small. When the 14.95 million, 15 million HP bar above the head of Ancient Dinosaur King emerged, the entire space except Qin Tian, including Zhang Zongjun and Cecily, were stunned. What an international joke. A huge blood volume of 15 million. Are you sure you can finish the 15 minutes? Don't look at the tens of millions of God's chosen people present. On the whole, 1 round per person can almost wipe out the world boss. But can it really be that simple? Don't look at the number of God's chosen present. But less than 1 out of 10 can really pose a threat to this world boss. Like those gunboats and frigates with the highest proportion, almost all of them came into paddle water for soy sauce. If they dare to get close to the damage caused to the world boss after being killed by the backhand of the world boss, it is estimated that the blood volume is not as much as the blood volume recovered after being killed by the world boss. But when they are sluggish, Qin Tian said with a slight smile, everyone, don't be in a daze, hurry up and command your warships to start fighting, I'm still waiting to collect the teeth of the world's boss Dinosaur King. Finished. After he greeted several people, he turned his head and returned to his control room. Let's go, let's start. Shaoshan is so urgent, it seems that he really lacks top quality sea beast teeth. Zhang Zongjun looked at the few people and said with a smile, that kid is a pervert. We get blueprints to make weapons. Most of them use the most common sea beast teeth, and the better ones use elite sea beast teeth. He needs the best sea beast teeth every now and then. Lang Lai also shook his head and said speechlessly, ha ha ha, this is called ability. If everything is the same as us, what kind of peerless evildoer is it? Huang Zishang said something with a smile. Then he turned around and went back to his battleship control room. When everyone saw this, they didn't dare to delay any longer. They nodded to each other, after a polite sentence. Then he quickly returned to the control room of his battleship. And Qin Tian's sighed, after seeing a faint red light shining on the body of the phoenix and then his own nemesis also shining red light. Qin Tian immediately asked Dong Zhuang to notify Rui and Li Yao to take off in the channel. At the same time let Zhu aim and start shelling. At this time, all the battleships that can cause damage to ancient Dinosaur King have already started to attack. The top 10 rankings on the damage leaderboard are highly competitive. However, it is Reese Duke who ranks first steadily. The damage value is as high as 280,000. The second is Cecily. The damage value is 210,000. The third was Clifford. The damage value is 180,000. Zero Seeking Flowers. The fourth is Nangong La. The damage value is 120,000. Certainly, proportional to these damage values is the terrifying killing ability of Ancient Dinosaur King. I saw the opponent's slender and powerful body rushing into the god's chosen fleet. In an instant, it was like a lion breaking into a flock of sheep. Its huge jaws can crush a frigate in one bite. Swipe left and right with the long and powerful tail, and dozens of warships that can be swept will fly out directly. Qin Tian even saw a battleship lose most of its blood after being swept away by a tail. Then the battleship God's Chosen was so frightened that he controlled his battleship and fled to the distance. There is no trace of tough posture left. Just such a short time. Thousands of God's Chosen were probably killed on the spot in that area. 0. This injury made Qin Tian's scalp tingle. He meows. How could the ancient Dinosaur King attack be so terrifying? He originally thought of rushing up to collect the opponent's body after resisting the opponent's several attacks at the last moment. But now it seems that we still have to take a long-term view. At least choose the right time. Fortunately, there are Rui's recovery properties. Otherwise, it would be really difficult this time. Qin Tian thought secretly in his heart. Observed for most of the day. He suddenly discovered that this ancient Crocodile King world boss doesn't have the ability to fight against the air. Qin Tian looked at the hundreds of fighter jets flying around above the head of the world boss ancient Crocodile King attacking wantonly and frantically. I can't help but sigh that the era of aircraft carriers has really arrived. It's like history repeating itself. With the rise of aircraft carriers, the battleship that once dominated the world of warships for a year has lost its position as the #1 brother of the battleship. As for the #1 position on the injury list, Qin Tian is not worried. Although his S-level must-hit talent lost its binding effect and could not be used because the ordinary 406mm main naval gun was recovered when the battleship broke through the aircraft carrier. But the damage of his battleship armament is all double damage. He is not afraid at all. And as expected, as his naval guns and missiles began to bombard ancient Dinosaur King on the body, Qin Tian's damage ranking immediately jumped rapidly at the speed of a rocket. Shocked all the eyes 9. 70%. Chapter 351 Want to pull out a tooth in the tiger's mouth. Then let them pull it out. In addition, the fighter planes of Rui and Li Yao also joined the battlefield at the same time. The speed of Qin Tian's rise on the leaderboard suddenly became even more terrifying. After all, Rui has that mythical A-16 Vulcan 20mm 6-barreled aviation cannon as his trump card. The effective rate of fire of 6,000 rounds per minute is no joke. Under the control of Reina's superb technology. In addition, mythical A-16 Vulcan 20mm 6-tube aviation cannon comes with a 70% increase in hit rate. In Rui's hands, the entire cannon had almost a 100% hit rate. Let the damage value on Qin Tian's damage list keep rising rapidly at a dizzying speed. Just less than a minute of effort. He replaced Clifford and came to the third position. In a minute, he passed Cecily to come second. Less than 2 minutes. His ranking surpassed Reese Duke without mercy, and once again sat firmly on the #1 throne. See this scene. Reese Duke's face turned blue with anger. What happened to Qin Tian riding a horse? Take a stimulant. Or kryptonite. Otherwise, how could the damage be so outrageous? The damage gap between them in the first 2 times was not that big. But look at the current posture. Wait until the end of this world boss challenge. Doesn't the difference in damage between him and the opponent have to reach millions? Don't talk about him. The audience in the live broadcast room who followed this scene the whole time were also dumbfounded, their mouths all opened into an O shape. Although they guessed that Qin Tian might still be number one this time. But when Rhys Duke's damage value reached more than 300,000, Qin Tian hadn't appeared in the top 10 of the leaderboard. Many people from the Yanlong Empire had already given up. But who would have thought that the reversal would come so quickly? So sudden. Qin Tian is at a speed that can be called a rocket. In less than 2 minutes, the damage value changed from 0 to more than 800,000. This is really beyond the expectations of too many people. It can be called heaven-defying. The live broadcast room exploded in an instant. Wow, ha ha ha, I'm number one again. I think that Rhys Duke from the Tower Empire is going to die of depression right now. He. Indeed, no matter what the event was before, as long as Rhys Duke entered the arena, the number one was almost no suspense, but since Qin Shen entered the world of warships, the commander-in-chief of the Duke family has completely followed the number one missed. FK, Qin Shen's aircraft carrier is simply invincible. Rui Shen's fighter jet damage is against the sky, but the damage of this ship's warship's armament is so terrible. A shell has 7 or 8,000 blood, and a missile directly damages it's worth more than 10,000. This horse riding is too much. It's just off the charts. What's outrageous about this? Do you think that God Qin's double aircraft carrier attribute is the same as other people's aircraft carriers for viewing? To be honest, I think that only with this kind of firepower can the insect be worthy of Qin God, the unique nemesis aircraft carrier. Fortunately, Rhys Duke didn't know about the content of these chats in the live broadcast room. If let him know, I was afraid in my heart that I was going to be hit. Closer to home, although Rhys Duke hated Qin Tian deeply. But when he cast his gaze on ancient dinosaur king. But in his heart, his fear of Qin Tian involuntarily increased a bit. I saw the world boss who had been bombarded by them for a long time before and didn't have much skin. At this moment, under the gunfire of Qin Tian, the back that was as hard as steel actually showed signs of being broken. Blood kept flowing out. The battle continued like this for 13 minutes. Although during the period ancient Crocodile King launched a big move when the blood volume dropped below 10 million and 5 million, he forcibly recovered more than 2 million blood. But under the siege of a group of people, he was injured like a quarrel with Qin Tian. At the 13th minute, the HP of the ancient dinosaur king still dropped below 1 million. And as the opponent's blood volume drops, the third wave of big moves is coming. I saw the opponent's body suddenly began to roll on the water. Then brought a waterspout and rushed to the fleet group not far away from Qin Tian at high speed. The chosen ones in that area were so scared that they immediately acted like a mouse seeing a cat. Started to run away in all directions. But the effect is obviously not obvious. Ancient Crocodile King just tossed and bitten a few times casually. The chosen ones in that area suffered heavy casualties. At the same time, their death also restored the blood of the world boss, which had already lost more than 2 to 3 million blood. It's just that more than 3 million blood has been recovered. That doesn't change the final outcome. With the launch of several rounds of attacks, Qin Tian, who has been using divine detective technique to keep an eye on the blood volume of the world boss, soon discovered that the opponent's blood volume had dropped to more than 1.3 million. Hong Bao, control the battleship to approach the world boss at low gear. I will collect the other party's body later. Quote. Qin Tian immediately gave Chu Hongbao an order and said, "Yes, Captain." Chu Hongbao responded loudly when he heard the words. Then he shifted the gear to second gear without any hesitation. The battleship began to drive towards ancient dinosaur king without slowing down. And Qin Tian made a move. After seeing his movements, the other dozen warships rushed out from several directions without fear of death. Then it gradually surrounded the world boss ancient Crocodile King. See this scene. There was a sneer at the corner of Qin Tian's mouth. He said to Chu Hongbao, "Hongbao, lower the speed a little bit." Then he said to Zula, "Old Zhu, Dong Zhuang, stop all weapon attacks, send a message to Rui and Li Yao, let them also reduce the frequency of attacks, don't those guys want to pull out the teeth in the tiger's mouth? Then let them pull out, I want to see if their pincers are hard or my tiger's teeth are hard." Hear Qin Tian's words. Zula and Dong Zhuang stopped immediately. The automatic mode of the fire control system was suspended. At the same time, Zula and Dong Zhuang also notified Qin Tian's intentions to Rui and Li Yao respectively. Then they quietly watched the other dozen warships getting closer and closer to the world boss. 2.2 with Qin Tian stopping the attack. The blood loss speed of ancient Crocodile King immediately slowed down a lot. And in full view, the dozen or so battleships also slowly approached within a few kilometers of the world boss. Rattling. Bang bang bang. Ancient Crocodile King obviously possessed considerable wisdom. Seeing other battleships, they all wished to be 108,000 meters away from it. Only these dozen or so warships went in the opposite direction. This is really a tiger falling in Pyongyang being bullied by a dog. These dogs didn't pay attention to the bloody world boss at all. Seeing that his blood volume was pushed back to below 1 million again. Ancient Crocodile King was also furious. Looking up to the sky, he groaned in despair. Then it set its sights on the dozen or so God's chosen ones. 70%. Chapter 352 World Boss Can Magic. The dozen or so God chosen had obviously not realized the seriousness of the problem. Seeing that the blood volume of the world boss has dropped below 1 million again. There was a greedy look in their eyes. Excitedly urging the crew under his hand to pour the artillery fire on the battleship towards ancient Dinosaur King with full firepower. Everyone wants to be the second person to eat crabs. Experience the refreshing feeling of getting rich overnight. And with their lead, soon, more than a dozen warships rushed out of the crowd. But it is not so easy to be the emperor of Europe. Without Wu Huang's life, he must have Wu Huang's disease. Isn't this just looking for abuse? Just when dozens of battleships, including Qin Tian's nemesis, were less than a kilometer away from the ancient Dinosaur King. I saw that ancient Crocodile King's blood volume suddenly began to drop crazily by itself. In the blink of an eye, there were only less than 500,000 left. And as the blood volume of ancient Dinosaur King directly dropped by half, Qin Tian's dozens of warships suddenly began to thunder and lightning. This scene immediately attracted everyone's attention. Qin Tian came outside the control room. He looked up at 06's brewing purple thunder that was getting more and more terrifying. My heart can't help but feel a little hairy. Woe Tang. It is indeed the most powerful world boss I have encountered. Not to mention the physical attack is good. How about magical attacks? This lightning strike won't directly cut half of the blood volume of your battleship, right? Because Qin Tian suddenly thought, it seems that the other party used up half of his HP to perform this trick. It stands to reason that the damage of this nirvana should not be too low. Think here. Qin Tian couldn't help feeling a little dizzy. If 1/2 of the blood volume drops sharply, then his loss is a bit big. I don't know if Rui's characteristics can make up for the loss of the boss of this world before his death. Naturally, the other dozens of gods chosen also noticed the thunder above their warships. But they don't pay attention after just a glance. It didn't take it too seriously either. In their view, just 1 or 2 bolts of magic damage from the power of thunder. At most, 10,000 to 20,000 blood of their warships will be destroyed. These blood volume losses are still within their tolerable range. Rumbling. It's too late to say it. Just when Qin Tian retreated into the control room before closing the door. Just heard a deafening sound. The thunder that brewed directly above dozens of battleships in the sky struck the decks of their respective targets at the same time. Minus 33,548. When Qin Tian saw it disappear with that thunderbolt. After the damage from the scarlet floating out of his own deck. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. Although more than 30,000 blood is a lot. But far stronger than I imagined. It's better than losing hundreds of thousands. And there is Rui's blood recovery characteristic. These lost blood volumes can be refilled in less than a minute. And this wave of attacks is nothing to Qin Tian's goddess of nemesis. But it's different with others. Even Qin Tian's nemesis, which had more than 10,000 defenses, lost more than 30,000 blood. Not to mention the other dozens of warships. All the destroyers and several cruisers inside were emptied of their blood bars by the thunder almost on the spot, triggering the sinking effect. But a few breaths of effort. Nearly 30 huge warships sank into the sea so silently, disappearing without a trace. This move immediately stunned the rest of the gods chosen who were about to make a move. The restless heart instantly calmed down. Good guy. Is this an indiscriminate range attack? Because all the warships within a kilometer range of it have just been attacked. But the destroyers hanging far behind them were fine. Seeing that the densely packed warships in front of him were emptied in the blink of an eye, only a few remained. The few destroyers that escaped by chance immediately retreated without looking back. This wave of thunder attacks ended. Ancient Crocodile King, the surviving gods chosen around were ecstatic. So many chosen ones died all at once. Good to die. Now there are even fewer competitors. And this should be the last struggle of the world boss. Withstood this wave of big move damage. The next step is to see who can escape the physical attack of the ancient Crocodile King fortunately, and then wait for the opponent's death to collect its body with longer hands and faster. Because it's just a short time. The opponent's HP has changed from less than 500,000 to less than 200,000. At the same time, the attacks of those gods chosen in the surrounding area continued. So less than a minute at most. This world boss is probably going to be on the spot. It's just not waiting for them to be happy for long. In the sky, several purple thunderbolts were brewing above their heads. This scene directly made the remaining 4 cruisers, 2 battleships and an aircraft carrier look stupid. Look at the little blood left. Those god-chosen who evolved into cruisers all showed despair. No, their desperate roars have not yet fallen. Those purple thunderbolts mercilessly struck down again. Qin Tian looked at the more than 40,000 scarlet damage floating up on the deck. The corners of his mouth could not help but twitch slightly. I go. What do you mean? How much damage can this thunderbolt deal? What the hell is one stronger than the other? Qin Tian quit immediately. Facing Zhu Le and Dong Zhuang, he said, Old Zhu, Lao Dong, start attacking, and we know that Rui and Li Yao are also attacking. Yes, Captain. The two nodded. The gunfire of the goddess of Nemesis immediately began to roar with full firepower. At the same time, Rui and Li Yao, who were hovering in the sky, also controlled the fighter jets to launch an attack. The Nemesis, which originally had more than 200,000 HP left, recovered to 230,000 in an instant. And the few battleships around him don't have such thick blood as the Nemesis. Except that the aircraft carrier is still struggling. The battleships, including those battleships, sank slowly into the sea with their health bars cleared at this moment. Hit both. There should be at least one more, right? He glanced at the aircraft carrier that was still holding on. Qin Tian thought secretly in his heart. If it weren't for challenging the world boss in the alien space, they wouldn't be able to attack each other. Just for their daring to fight with him. I have already bombarded myself a few times. And the fact is just as Qin Tian thought. A third purple thunderstorm was brewing in the sky soon. In the desperate and unwilling roar of the aircraft carrier God chosen. His aircraft carrier, which only had more than 10,000 health bars left, was immediately emptied of all its health. The bow-down ship began to sink rapidly. It never occurred to him. The nearly 90,000 blood of my own aircraft carrier can't resist the 3 attacks of the world boss. 70%. Chapter 353 shocked everyone by resisting 150,000 injuries without dying. At this moment, the chosen one of the aircraft carrier even regretted it. He never thought that he would end up in such a fate. I knew it was the result. No matter what he said, he would not control the battleship to rush out to gamble this once. The result is fine now. The aircraft carrier, which has just broken through for a few days, has not yet begun to realize its ambitions. Just encountered this catastrophe. 3 years of hard work have all come to nothing. Even he himself is about to die. But it's useless to regret now. It's too late to regret everything. And at the same time, Qin Tian is also not feeling well. Nemesis under the attack of this thunderbolt, a scarlet damage of minus 70,888 was directly caused. The blood bar was half empty in an instant. Hiss. See this scene. All the chosen ones gasped. Bananas are paralyzed. Grape got a cantaloupe. How much blood does Qin Tian's aircraft carrier have? 180,000, 200,000, or more than 200,000. Just less than a minute. Qin Tian's goddess of Nemesis was knocked out of nearly 150,000 blood. The blood volume is so thick that it is scary. Is it really like what the god chosen from Maoshang Empire said? Qin Tian's aircraft carrier at least has more than 200,000 HP. It's just that their focus soon stopped on this. Because it was just 10 or 20 seconds after the aircraft carrier sank. The world boss ancient Crocodile King, who cultivated both magic and martial arts, was cleared of his last trace of blood in the roar of Qin Tian's naval guns. Floating belly up on the sea. Seeing that his body faintly showed signs of sinking. Qin Tian's goddess of Nemesis sailed right in front of its corpse at this time. I found the corpse of the world boss ancient Dinosaur King. Would you like to collect it? Collection. Hear the beep of the will of the planet. Qin Tian said these 2 words with the corners of his mouth raised high. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 20,000 units of king meat of the leader dinosaur. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 1,300 top quality sea beast teeth. And with the sound of the will of the planet falling, Qin Tian felt his eyes blur. When everything returns to normal, he has returned to the waters of World of Warships. Before he could react, the beeps of the will of the planet began to ring one after another. This event to challenge the world boss Ancient Dinosaur King has ended. Congratulations to Qin Tian, the chosen one of the Yanlong Empire, for giving the final blow to the boss. Special reward for killing treasure chest 1. Congratulations to every chosen one who survived. You will receive a corresponding level of challenge gift pack. This time, the top 3 god chosen who have caused the most damage to the world boss Ancient Crocodile King will receive generous rewards. Please pay attention to check. After the voice of the planets will fell, a virtual panel appeared in front of the eyes of all the chosen ones in World of Warships. The above is the damage ranking of this challenge to the world boss Ancient Dinosaur King. The first place in the middle is still Qin Tian. It shows that the damage to boss is as high as 4.81 million. The second place from the bottom left is no longer Reese Duke this time, but Cecily Adams. The damage to boss reached 2.95 million. And Reese Duke's ranking dropped to the third place on the right this time. The damage to boss is 2.14 million. It is more than 2 times less than Qin Tian's damage. See this damage gap. All the chosen ones were taken aback. Some couldn't believe their eyes. Water offends Fok. How is this possible? How did the damage of Goddess Cecily and Reese become so different from that of Qin Tian all of a sudden? Oh my god, the world boss was collected by Qin Tian, right? Doesn't this mean that the other party's supplies are going to skyrocket again? Don't forget that there are also top quality sea beast teeth. I'm so envious. Damn it, how did this Qin Tian do it? Reese boss's damage is twice as small as that of Qin Tian's. Could it be that the Qin Tian's aircraft carrier attribute is not doubled, but 20 times? Didn't you notice the strangeness of Qin Tian's battleship? Although he doesn't have many fighter jets on board, the main guns and anti-ship missiles are no worse than those of the battleship period, and the attack power is even more explosive than that of the battleship period. Zyba, I also found out that his double-deck aircraft carrier is simply cheating. In its heyday, it could at least have 2 standard aviation wings, plus the naval guns and missiles installed on the battleship. I feel like 2 or 3 even the aircraft carrier battle group may not be able to beat his 2 aircraft carriers. Wow, can you stop making such weird opinions? A high awakened talent is cheating, and it's cheating to get good things out of treasure chests. Now even the high attribute bonus you get is cheating. Feelings are the universe. In your eyes, the authority of the rules is so vulnerable, right? It makes us Qin God seem like the son of the rules of the universe, and a random sneeze can spew out a bug to the rules of the universe. And on a sea area of World of Warships, Reese Duke looked at the damage leaderboard in front of him, and his face was ashen. At the same time, there is also a strong fear in my heart. To be honest, Qin Kai's blood that resisted 150,000 damage from the world boss really overwhelmed him. Coupled with this terrifying damage that broke through the sky, it made Reese Duke hesitate for a while about his next move. Originally, he knew the coordinates of the god-level treasure island selected by Qin Tian by means of some means and channels. When he learned that Qin Tian had left for Tianshu Island to help Zhang Zongjun, he wanted to lead someone to take the opportunity to occupy that god-level treasure island. Then take away all the valuable things on it. Before Qin Tian came back, he would plow the entire island with naval guns. But now, after witnessing Qin Tian's abnormal strength with his own eyes, he had some doubts about his next act of death. High attack value, thick blood volume, Zhao Lihao, and has a terrifying anti-air force after development. It can be said that the weak point of Qin Tian's aircraft carrier is almost pitifully small. If this is the god-level treasure island that ran to attack him, even if he is still firmly seated as the number 1 god chosen in the Lighthouse Empire, but he can't guarantee that he can resist the opponent's attack 100%. Finally, after hesitating again and again, Reese Duke gritted his teeth and decided to retreat temporarily. His god-level treasure island has already started construction. He has even used such precious blueprints as legendary shipyards. As for Qin Tian's island, to put it bluntly, it is now an island of no man. He has now destroyed Qin Tian's island. At most, it destroyed some hills and streams. The damage to Qin Tian can be said to be very limited. And if Qin Tian ran over because of this, he would take away his god-level treasure island. Then his loss is not ordinary. 70%. Chapter 354 Genesis-class Thunder Laser Air Defense Launcher. He didn't want his power to return to before liberation like David Cyril. He had also received a message from the God-favored person before. It is said that when David Cyril led his small and poor family fleet to attack the God-level treasure island, it ended in failure. In the end, he had no choice but to stop, planning to develop first before coming to occupy his God-level treasure island. This is tantamount to being laughed out of their teeth in the circle of their wealthy capitalists. But when they finished laughing, they all stopped laughing. Because the strength of the Cyril family fleet is obvious to all of them. Not to mention being one of the best in their circle. But ranking in the top 5 is absolutely no problem. But it is such a powerful Cyril family. At that time, it was almost wiped out by Qin Tian's battleship. And now the opponent's battleship has broken through to the aircraft carrier. And there are still 2 ships. He really didn't dare to bet on whether the strength in his hands could successfully resist the attacks of these 2 aircraft carriers. In fact, he wasn't alone at the moment. Rhys Duke thought so. Sailing on the sea. The 4 capital families planning to join the Lot family fleet are also weighing the pros and cons of this matter. They are not as powerful as the Imperial Army 187. In his hand, there are 100,000 or 200,000 chosen ones and a dozen or so islands. Although in this world, their family has considerable influence on the military. But right now in World of Warships, if Qin Tian insists on staring at them, these big capitalist families to destroy them. So did the military, although they can ask the military to rescue them. But who knows when Qin Tian will attack them? They can't just carve up the more than 200,000 God-chosen members of the military department and use them exclusively to protect them, right? Not to mention whether their water resources and food resources can be maintained. It is impossible for the military department alone to agree with their thinking. So after seeing the strength shown by Qin Tian, they immediately compared the power of the islands they occupied. The final conclusion is that, with Qin Tian's current strength, if he attacks them, 9 times out of 10 their islands will fall. After thinking about this, the commander-in-chief of the 4 families communicated with each other. Then they decided to give up this assistance mission together. They also returned all the supplies without leaving a penny. Compared with the life and death of my AGAB family, the material remuneration of tens of millions of units is simply not worth mentioning. When Karl Lauter knew the news, the whole person is on fire on his own battleship. Almost annoyed, she took off her clothes and jumped into the sea for a fruit swim. Fortunately, the lighthouse and the sun never set. The 2 imperial military departments said that they would never back down because of Qin Tian's little accident. No way. It's not that they insist on making things difficult for Qin Tian. Karl really gave too much. Tens of millions of high-quality materials did not make them more excited. The most important thing is the coordinates of the 2 God-level treasure islands. You must know that this represents 2 aircraft carriers with double attributes. This is for their 2 major imperial armies. Definitely has strategic significance. It's just that Qin Tian at the moment doesn't know about these things. After collecting the king-level meat and top-grade sea beast teeth of the world boss, he set his sights on the 2 treasure chests. As usual, open the black and gold killing treasure chest first. Grab the top lid of the treasure chest and lift it off. The beeps of the will of the planet began to beep one after another. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the blueprint of the legendary triple-mounted Mk 406mm main naval gun ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the mythical fighter blueprint ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the blueprint of the mythical unmanned fighter jet ×10. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 10,000 units of fine wood. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 10,000 units of fine flax. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 10,000 units of fine metal sheets. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 10,000 units of excellent plastics. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 5,000 barrels of crude oil. Looking at the naval guns and fighter jets that were launched, they were all blueprints. Qin Tian clenched his right hand and waved it vigorously. What he values most is the 10 unmanned fighter jets, plus the blueprints of the 10 unmanned fighter jets he had obtained before. If these are produced at the same time, it will be 20 Genesis-class unmanned fighter jets. This air force is probably in the military headquarters of the Lighthouse Empire. I'm afraid you'll be jealous when you hear it. After all, it was a Genesis-level unmanned fighter jet. It's not a cat or a dog's garbage stuff. And that legendary triple Mk 406mm main naval gun blueprint is also very important to his current situation. Because of breaking through the aircraft carrier, the naval guns were recovered, which in turn made his must-hit talent automatically unbound. In this situation, naturally, he can perform the must-hit talent binding again. And he now has 2 Genesis-class triple-mounted Mk 406mm main naval guns on the Battleship. If you add this one, those 3 Genesis-class triple-mounted Mk 406mm main naval guns can be bound to the talent skill must-hit. At that time, his must-hit talent will come out. Wouldn't the damage have to explode on the spot? I thought so in my heart. He turned his gaze to the creation-level treasure chest that was glowing with colorful light. His Nemesis blueprint was opened from this kind of creation-level treasure chest. I don't know what good things can come out this time. If you can issue a skill upgrade coupon, that would be of great benefit to him. With full expectations, Qin Tian grabbed the lid of the Genesis-class treasure chest and forcefully lifted it. Immediately thereafter, the notification sound of the will of the planet rang. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the Genesis-class Thunder Laser Air Defense Launcher ×4. With the sound of the planet's will, the sound fell. See you on deck. 4 single-tube laser launchers appeared side by side in front of his eyes. When hearing the term laser anti-aircraft launcher, Qin Tian's eyes widened in an instant. I can't believe my luck at all. Wally, what kind of fairy things did he open out? Laser weapon. At this stage, laser weapons are definitely super products that cross the era. Don't talk about fighting the fighters of those gods chosen. Even the flying machines and spaceships that will fight the Zular people in the future may be quite powerful. He never expected that his luck could be so good. Open such a European emperor's baby. And in the live broadcast room in this world. Although because of hidden reasons, people can no longer see item details. But the unique shape of the laser emitters is still easy for people to identify them. 70%. Chapter 355 Crystal Mine Power. Watermelon Grape Seeds. Oh, I bought it. Is this a laser weapon? Water Falca. With the current progress of World of Warships, this kind of weapon should not be opened. What's the matter with this Yanlong man's luck? Why every time he opens something from the creation treasure chest, he can such a miraculous and outstanding good thing be produced? Baga. It's not fair. Why does he take the first place every time? Doesn't he know how to be modest and let others take the creation level treasure chest to enhance their strength? He is not the only one who can fight against the Zarare invasion. Don't the country also needs a strong strength? Hey, you little devil can do it. Either you don't talk, or you put me on the fire as soon as you open your mouth. Why don't you be happy if you don't let you take the first place? You have strengthened your strength for the sake of it. Are you going to deal with the Kirs? The first thing you aim your guns at is our god Qin, okay. Hey, don't need to tell the little devils so much. They are the grasshoppers after autumn, and they won't be jumping for long. Qin Shen 666, laser weapon, good guy, I'm afraid this thing can be used in the later stage. I hope these 4 laser emitters can be of a higher grade. When the Zarare people come, Qin Shen can use these 4 laser emitters to teach 10 lessons to those who are ugly. There was a lot of excitement in the live broadcast room. On the Nemesis, Qin Tian looked at the 4 Genesis-level Thunder Laser anti-aircraft launcher. Then he used the Divine Detective technique with a single thought. Although these 4 laser transmitters are not advanced to the creation world level with blueprints. But Qin Tian wanted to see it. Such a precious laser-like transmitter. Can he use Divine Detective technique for another wave of strengthening? Item. Genesis-class Thunder Laser Air Defense Launcher. Quality. Colorful. Attack. 12,000. Effective range. 1,000 kilometers. Durability. 10,000. Effective rate of fire. 60 rounds per minute. Requirement. For every 500 units of power consumed, it can be launched for 1 minute. Introduction. It can fire 2 rounds of pulsed lasers, with a cooling time of 2 seconds. Normal enhancement. 5,000 low-quality crystal organ, 40000 low-quality metal sheet, 30,000 low-quality nail, strengthening can increase 2,000 attack. High-quality enhancement. Ordinary crystal ore 8,000, ordinary metal sheet 50,000, ordinary nail 40,000 can be strengthened to increase attack power by 8,000. Advanced reinforcement. 15,000 high-quality crystal ores, 70,000 high-quality metal pieces, 60,000 high-quality nails, strengthening can increase 24,000 attacks. Originally, Qin Tian was a little disappointed when he saw the 12,000 attack power. After all, this is also a creation-level laser weapon. It is reasonable to say that the damage should be more powerful than those ordinary gunpowder shells. But when he saw that advanced strengthening could increase the attack power by 24,000, his little disappointment was directly replaced by a huge surprise. Bull batch. Once advanced enhancement is turned on, the attack power of Genesis-class Thunder Laser Air Defense Launcher can reach 36,000. This is definitely a super terrifying damage value, even if those chosen by the gods make a world-class fighter. It is estimated that it will be shot and exploded in the end of the sky before it drives over. After all, the effective range of 1,000 kilometers is not a joke. This Genesis-class Thunder Laser Air Defense Launcher is clearly a weapon for interstellar warfare. Putting it in this atmosphere is really a bit of talent. But all of this needs to be established after advanced. And the materials needed for this advanced advancement are all magical things. Good sheet metal goes without saying with good nails. He is familiar with this. But what the hell is that fine crystal ore? Don't talk about this life. Even after 3 years in his previous life, he had never heard the name of this material. Damn, this thing is not a product of outer space, is it? If this is the case, doesn't that mean that if you want to strengthen this Genesis-class Thunder Laser Air Defense Launcher, you have to wait until he breaks through the battleship into a starship and goes to outer space to have the opportunity to obtain this kind of material? Moreover, the electrical energy required for the laser weapon to launch is also a problem. In his last life, he had never heard of such energy as electricity. God knows how to harvest electricity. And if there is no electricity, then these 4 Genesis-class Thunder Laser Air Defense Launchers are just decorations. It's useless. Think here. Qin Tian felt his head was getting bigger. This high-tech weapon is awesome. But this evolution and the materials that need to be consumed during use are really speechless. It stands to reason that World of Warships should have a nuclear power plant. I just don't know if there are miniature nuclear power plants or portable nuclear power plants that can be installed on warships. With this nuclear power plant should be able to generate electricity. At that time, it would be more than enough to support 4 laser weapons. Shook his head. Put these 4 Genesis-class Thunder Laser Air Defense Launchers aside. 0. Seeking flowers. Qin Tian then put away the 12 naval gun and fighter blueprints. Start tossing the 5,000 barrels of crude oil on the deck. Now that he has 2 aircraft carriers, his demand for crude oil has naturally increased significantly. So he must not be able to sell the 5,000 barrels of crude oil. All must be kept. Just as he was using his mind to move the crude oil to the cabin below the deck, barrels and barrels were dumped. A beep beep private message prompt sounded suddenly in his mind. Open it and have a look. It was found that the girl Nangongle was contacting him. Boss, are you there? I want to show you 2 good babies. Look at this message. A large black line suddenly appeared on Qin Tian's forehead. 2 good babies. WTF. This means that his thoughts are relatively pure. Otherwise, I might not know where to go. Speechlessly, he smiled wryly. Then he replied, what can make you so happy? Haha, I'll take a photo for you to see, and you'll know after reading it. The other party responded to the message almost in seconds. This made Qin Tian even more speechless. Still taking pictures. Girl, you play very well. Then he quickly saw 2 pictures and item information sent by Nangongle. Excellent watermelon seeds. Excellent grape seed. When seeing the names of these 2 items, Qin Tian's eyes lit up instantly. I knock. Watermelon and grapes. My wife likes to eat grapes the most. But haven't tasted it since the awful invasion. As for the daughter, let alone. Just an orange can make the little girl eat with relish. Then the watermelon and grapes, which I have never tasted before, will definitely be more popular with the little girl. Think here. Qin Tian immediately planned to spend some supplies to buy these 2 bags of seeds. In the end, he hadn't waited for him to speak. Nangongle sent a message over there. Boss, these are 2 kinds of fruit seeds that I opened from the treasure chest. There are 5 bags of each, and I keep 2 bags for myself. I will honor the 3 bags for you. Good quality fruit seeds. 5 packs of each. This made Qin Tian envious. It can only be said that this is indeed a very happy Nangong. In terms of luck, the other party really makes people unable to do anything but envy. 70%. Chapter 356. 20 Genesis-class UCAVs. Soon, Nangongle traded 6 packs of fruit seeds to Qin Tian. Looking at the 6 bags of fruit seeds in his hand, the corner of Qin Tian's mouth twitched slightly. Then send a message to the other party. Nangong, you only have 5 packs of these 2 kinds of fruit seeds. Yeah, what's wrong? Nangong La sent a message with some doubts and asked. No, you didn't give them to General Zhang. Qin Tian was a little startled. This girl is now a general-level officer canonized by the Empire anyway. If you have this good thing and don't want it, give it to the military first. Instead, he gave him the big head. Is this not a good thing? The result is not waiting for him to say anything. Nangongal sent him a message. Boss, why do you care so much? Aren't there fruits from me in the military department? Besides, the planting effect at your place is obviously better in 220 inches, and the taste of the plants is sweeter. At that time, I will provide the ones I planted to General Zhang and the others. Boss, you have to divide the watermelons you planted with the grapes. Give me some. When Qin Tian saw this message, he was a little dumbfounded. Message her back. Okay, I'll plant them and give you points when the time comes. Communication is over. Qin Tian packed these 6 packs of high-quality fruit seeds. Then continued to dump 5,000 barrels of crude oil into the hold. It was busy until more than 3 o'clock in the afternoon. After all the crude oil is placed properly, Qin Tian returned to the deck immediately. He set his sights on the legendary triple-mounted Mk 406mm main naval gun. No time wasted. He unloaded the legendary 406mm main naval gun. Then he took out the stack of drawings from his pocket and found the legendary triple-mount Mk 406mm main naval gun blueprint and directly used the detective technique. After consuming 30,000 units of high-quality plastic, 15,000 units of high-quality metal sheets, 20,000 units of high-quality nails, and 200 top-quality sea beast teeth, it was upgraded to Genesis-level triple-mounted Mk 406mm large-caliber main naval gun. Qin Tian immediately chose to install. Then he took a deep breath. Turn on your S-level must-hit talent and start binding the 3 naval guns. This skill can only be bound to 3 battleship guns at present. Is it possible to bind the Genesis-class triple-mounted Mk 406mm main gun X3? Qin Tian nodded and chose to bind. And as he chooses to finish, the prompt sound of the will of the planet also sounded. Congratulations to the chosen one for successfully binding. After using the must-hit skill on the 3 naval guns, the cooldown of the must-hit skill will be extended to 1 minute. Hear the cue. The corners of Qin Tian's mouth immediately raised slightly. Has the cooldown time not changed? Sure enough, it is more cost-effective to bind this high-quality naval gun. The damage it can cause is more than 10 times higher. However, the cooldown time of loading launch has not changed. That's pretty powerful. How terrible is the triple attack of the 3 Genesis-class triple-mounted Mk 406mm large-caliber main naval guns with double aircraft carrier attribute bonuses. A Genesis-class triple-mounted Mk 406mm large-caliber main naval gun can deal more than 20,000 damage in a single attack. A round of salvo from 3 seats would cause more than 68,000 damage. Coupled with the characteristics of triple shooting, one set will directly cause more than 200,000 damage. Even if the enemy's aircraft carrier has double defensive attributes. But it shouldn't be a problem to lose 150,000 to 60,000 blood in 1 round. It can be said that this alone. Then he was almost invincible in World of Warships. Finished must-hit talent. Qin Tian immediately turned his attention to the mythical unmanned fighter blueprint that he attached great importance to. Item. Blueprint of mythical unmanned fighter. Quality. Red. Production requirements. Ordinary plastic 15,000, ordinary metal sheet 12,000, ordinary nail 8,000, sea beast tooth 80. Efficacy. It can be used to make a red mythical 4th generation Iron Guard unmanned fighter. Advanced advancement. 8,000 high-quality plastics, 6,000 high-quality metal sheets, 5,000 high-quality nails, 40 top-quality sea beast teeth, which can be advanced into colorful creation level 5th generation Raider unmanned combat aircraft advanced level available. I go. So cheap. After seeing that only 40 top-quality sea beast teeth are needed to manufacture a Genesis level 5th generation unmanned fighter jet, Qin Tian's eyes lit up. Without further ado, I chose advanced. Manufacturing the Genesis level 5th generation Raider unmanned fighter requires 8,000 fine plastics, 6,000 fine metal sheets, 5,000 fine nails, and 40 premium sea beast teeth. Do you want to make them? Manufacture. Qin Tian nodded directly. With the blueprint in hand disappears. Soon, a pure white triangular unmanned fighter jet appeared in the security position on the edge of the deck. Qin Tian looked at this fighter that was 2 or 3 circles smaller than the Genesis-class J-31 stealth fighter. As soon as he moved his mind, he used the divine detective technique on it. Item: Genesis-class 5th-generation Raider unmanned fighter. Quality: colorful. 14.32 x 2.3 x 11.5. Health volume: 9,980. Ix: 5,830. Defense: 900. Maximum speed: Mach 12 to 15. Maximum ceiling: 28,000 meters. Engine: F101D9 engine. Weapon system: YLS 30mm 7-tube aviation cannon, Blue by 301 air-to-air missile, Blue X6, Jam 930 kg heavy bomb, Blue X1. Hiss. Not bad. Look at the properties panel. Qin Tian clenched his right hand and waved it vigorously. Although the Raider drone's attack, blood volume and defense are not as high as the fighter jet piloted by Rui. But I have to say, this flight speed is really fast. 12 to 15 Mach flight speed. It just came and went without a trace. 2.8. And this Genesis level 5th generation Raider UCAV is also cheap. Only 40 top-grade sea beast teeth are needed to make one. He made all 20 of them and only needed to consume 800. Totally enough. Of course, the most important thing is that he has the undead characteristic of Phoenix. Although the Raider unmanned fighter jets are thin and low defense. But it has the blessing of immortality. Not afraid of death at all. So think here. Qin Tian took out the blueprints of the unmanned fighter jets. They began to manufacture one by one. Soon 20 Genesis-class unmanned fighter jets appeared on the flight deck. With the assistance of these 20 Genesis-level 5th-generation Raider unmanned fighter jets, Rui's combat effectiveness in the sky will definitely have a very terrifying improvement. Think here. He directly asked Rui to come over. 71%. Chapter 357 Watermelons and Grapes, can you grow them? Captain, you called me. Huh, are these all unmanned fighter jets? As soon as Rui came over, he saw the 20 unmanned fighters on the deck that were much smaller than his fighters, and the whole body was triangular and streamlined. That's right, these 20 fighter jets are all unmanned fighter jets, and then they will be incorporated into your command, and you will be fully responsible. How? It won't be a burden on you, will it? Qin Tian looked at Shang Rui with a smile and asked. No problem, Captain, don't worry, with these 20 unmanned fighter jets, my pressure on the battlefield will be reduced a lot, and it will be no problem to deal with hundreds of fighter jets then. Rui also said with a smile on his face. Qin Tian nodded. He patted the other party's shoulder, gave him a confident look and said, I'm relieved with your words, I believe these unmanned fighter jets will also give you an unexpected surprise. Don't wait for the other party to say more. Qin Tian took Rui to record his identity information and brainwave frequency in front of the 20 Genesis level 5th generation Raider unmanned combat aircraft. Same as those 4 tracked robots. With this brainwave manipulation, Ray just had to think about it in his head. These 20 Genesis level 5th generation Raider unmanned fighter jets can immediately capture his brain information and take corresponding actions. Rui 06, if you want, you will be able to drive your fighter jet and bring these 10 unmanned fighter jets to run in and practice in the sky. After finishing the matter of 20 unmanned fighter jets, Qin Tian put his hands behind his back. Taking a leisurely step, I came to the pile of 20,000 units of Leader Dinosaur King meat. They called Li Yao and they began to transport it to the kitchen below the deck. Beep beep. And at this moment, the private message prompt sounded again in Qin Tian's mind. He thought it was Nangong Le again. But who knew it turned out to be Borg from the Moore family after opening it. Mr. Qin, hello, I would like to ask you to buy some king-level meat from the world boss. Is it possible? See each other's information. Qin Tian didn't refuse either. Send a message directly. How much do you want? Seeing that Qin Tian didn't immediately refuse, Borg was overjoyed. Immediately sent a message saying, Mr. Qin, we don't want much, 3,000 units, the price is guaranteed to satisfy you. Qin Tian was also not polite to the other party. Send a message directly. 3,000 units is fine, but you should also know the market conditions. Last time, I sold the meat of King Leviathan for tens of thousands of units in the auction hall. Now the meat quality of King Diana Crocodile is better than King Lebia. The better the meat, the more expensive it is for sure. I understand, Mr. Qin. How about this? I will offer 16,000 units for ordinary wood and plastic materials, and 14,000 units for materials such as metal sheets and rags. What do you think? Borg quoted his price. Have to say, the price is indeed okay. So Qin Tian nodded and chose to agree. Sure, no problem. Borg saw that Qin Tian agreed. There was also a smile on his face. Hurriedly asked, I don't know how Mr. Qin plans to sell king meat. Qin Tian sent a message. 1,000 units each of wood, plastic, and sheet metal. Okay, Mr. Qin, please wait a moment. Waited for a while. Borg initiated a trade application with him on his own initiative. Qin Tian opened it and took a look. I saw that the other party had put 16 million low-quality wood, 16 million low-quality plastics, and 14 million low-quality metal sheets in the column of the other party. Seeing this, Tian didn't waste time. Directly put 3,000 units of Leader's King crocodile meat on it. After the two parties were optimistic about the quantity of the transaction items, they successively chose to confirm. This huge transaction was successfully completed. Mr. Qin, thank you and wish us a happy cooperation. Happy cooperation. Here he just finished trading with the Moore family. Over there, Zhang Zongjun sent another message. Needless to say, naturally, they came here to buy Leader Dinosaur King meat. For the Yanlong Navy of their own empire. Qin Tian definitely couldn't ask for such a high price. But Zhang Zongjun was not willing to let Qin Tian suffer. Directly bought 4,000 units from Qin Tian at the unit price of 14,000 common materials and 12,000 metal pieces. Now Qin Tian harvested another 14 million low-quality wood, 14 million low-quality plastics, and 24 million low-quality metal pieces. The materials can be said to be rich in an instant. After the transaction with the two major forces, Qin Tian continued to follow his crew to transport the remaining Leader Dinosaur King meat to the kitchen. Even if he sold 7,000 units of king meat, but the remaining meat still kept them busy until the sun went down. Only then did the remaining 13,000 units of Leader's Dinosaur King meat be transported. There are so many units of king level meat, there is definitely no room in the refrigerator. So Qin Tian asked Yu Dai to cook a sumptuous dinner with the king-level meat newly hunted today. Then he himself packed 1,000 units of Leader's Dinosaur King meat in a wooden basket and put it in the refrigerator in his rest cabin. These are the rations that my wife and daughter need to take out when they come in next time. Because the quality of Leader Dinosaur King meat is much higher than that of Leader Rebia King meat. Down for a supper, all the crew members on the two aircraft carriers were filled with blood. Everyone was so restless that they couldn't even sit still. There were activities on the deck of the runway. Later, a simplified version of the sports meeting was held on the flight deck of the Nemesis, without carrier-based fighter jets. Qin Tian watched for a while on the deck, seeing them having fun. He shook his head with a dumbfounded smile. 780. Then he returned to his rest cabin. And from a few blueprints, I found a epic level large-scale planting ecological cabin blueprint out. This is the drawing he got from the Moore family last week. Now it happens to be used to grow watermelons and grapes. Originally, he promised his daughter that he would get the island this month, so that the little girl would continue to come in for sightseeing. As a result, the plan could not keep up with the changes. Occupying the island this month is clearly out of the question. So he naturally needs to get some good things to make his little padded jacket happy. Put the drawings in your pocket. Qin Tian went to the deck and called Yu Dai and Wen Zhang. Captain. When the two came over, they shouted respectfully. Qin Tian nodded, and said with a smile, both of you have done research on agriculture. I wonder if you can grow watermelons and grapes. Hear Qin Tian's words. Yu Hai and Wen Zhang's eyes lit up. Watermelon and grapes. These are two delicious fruits. It also provides a variety of vitamins and minerals that the body needs. Yu Dai immediately said, Captain, I have some experience in growing watermelons. Watermelon. Very good. I heard that watermelons can be grown in the sea. Qin Tian immediately nodded with a satisfied smile. Then the next step is my wife's favorite grape. Think here. Qin Tian looked at Wen Zhang. 71%. Chapter 358. This is my wife's favorite fruit. When Wen Zhang met Qin Tian's expectant eyes, the scalp suddenly felt numb. If I come here, I won't. Next, will your own captain arrest him and soak him in a pig cage? Fortunately, he had also systematically studied the cultivation knowledge of these aquatic species before. Although there is no actual hands-on operation of growing grapes. But he is very clear about the knowledge and techniques of grape growing. But he didn't dare to hide his situation. I had to tell the truth. Captain, well, although I have systematically studied the knowledge of growing grapes, I have never really had the experience of planting grapes by hand. He felt a little uneasy. As a result, Qin Tian said indifferently, knowledge is enough, the other planting cabins will automatically adjust for you, you just need to tell me what needs to be prepared. Faced with the confident words of his own captain, it was only then that Wenjung remembered the function of the high-quality and scary planting cabin. Wo Tang. Yes, the planting pods built by the captain are all planting pods with their own technology and hard work. Things like the ecological automatic adjustment function are just pediatrics, and the technology that shortens the maturity time so that you can wait for it to be matured once a week is really great. In this case, what else should he worry about? He doesn't need to worry about the land, sunlight and fertilizers. He only needs to be responsible for setting up the shelves and watering them at regular intervals. Think here. Wen Zheng also became confident at once, and said to Qin Tian, Captain, you just need to give me some wood and let me build some shelves by myself. Qin Tian laughed and said, no problem. It's hard to say, you can choose the materials in the curry at will, and you can still have a chance to fail. I only have one request, and that is to plant the grapes smoothly for me. Come out, this is my wife's favorite fruit, you should know what it means. Upon hearing this, Wenjung suddenly Alexander. And in the live broadcast room, all the audience who heard this sentence were immediately stuffed with dog food. Ah, God Qin is really good at it. Woo, I really envy Goddess Mu for finding such a good husband. He obviously has the strength to conquer the world, but God Qin still sticks to his red line in World of Warships, and he even loves his wife so much. Yeah, here we want to promote polygamy in order to increase the birth rate, but Qin Shen is always thinking about his wife and daughter in World of Warships. Who dares to give birth in this situation now? Our husband and wife are tortured by radiation sickness every day, not to mention, we can't even provide a decent food and clothing every day. Isn't giving birth to a child just to make a crime for the child? Indeed, after all, not all men can soar into the sky after entering the world of warships like Qin Shen, and become an existence that can make wives and daughters fearless in the world. 1. There was a heated discussion in the live broadcast room. Everyone is extremely envious of Mu Ningxue and her daughter. And in the villa in Zhongzhou, Li Chengxi just finished eating at Mu Ningxue's house. After seeing this scene, he jokingly said to the latter, Ning Shui, Qin Tian really dotes on you too much, how on earth did you catch such a treasured man? I'm so envious. And faced with Li Chengxi's joking question, Mu Ningxue recalled the scene when the two met for the first time. Sexy red lips evoked a touching smile and said, this is easy and simple to say, but difficult to say. Ah, how to say? Li Chengxi was very curious. Because Tian was picked up from the main road on a whim at that time. Mu Ningxue smiled. I picked it up on the main road. Okay, you stinky girl, how dare you fool me? Li Chengxi stretched out her hand to scratch Mu Ningxue's itch. Oh, don't scratch me, be careful, I can't control my strength and knock you into the air. Okay, I was wrong, I admit defeat, I didn't lie to you, I really picked it up on the road. Quote. Mu Ningxue raised her hand and said in surrender. And heard the fight between the two. Qin Xiaoxiao, who was doing homework in the study in the distance, poked out her head and peeked quietly and curiously. After seeing Mu Ningxue's eyes look over, she immediately retracted her head again. Continue to do your homework like a baby. No, is it true or not? Could it be that Qin Tian lay down on the road after drinking too much at the bar, and after being picked up by you, he took advantage of you? Li Chengxi saw that Mu Ningxue didn't seem to be joking. A shocked expression appeared on his face. Go, am I such a woman? After shocking her daughter, after hearing Li Chengxi's words, Mu Ningxue nudged the other party silently. It wasn't before, but after you just said that sentence, how do I look like it now? Li Chengxi nodded affirmatively. Hearing this, Mu Ningxue rolled her beautiful eyes and rolled her eyes, and said, don't look at Tian who is so beautiful now, in fact, he was very down and out at the beginning. The first time I met him was when he was sleeping in the park, on the deck chair. Ah, hear Mu Ningxue's words, Li Chengxi was stunned. Looking at the handsome man with long hair in a shawl, slanted eyebrows, and deep eyes shining like stars on the virtual screen, no matter how he looks at it, he can't imagine that Qin Tian actually slept on the street. Really, the first time I saw him was when I got up for a morning run in the early winter morning and saw him on a deck chair in the park. Mu Ningxue said with a smile. And then, Li Chengxi was like a little squirrel who found a tree full of pine cones, with sparkling eyes and a curious face. Mu Ningxie shook her head and said, "Actually, it's nothing special. The world was still peaceful at that time. I had the habit of running in the morning every morning, and I went to the nearby park for a morning run at 6 o'clock every day. I went for a run in the park one day and saw the guy sleeping on the public seat. Okay, Zhao, in the next few days, he also got up very early, but we just looked at each other, and neither of us paid attention to each other. Until one day I lost my wallet, which contained more than 1,000 cash and my ID card and bank card. I thought it was lost on the road, but I couldn't find it after searching for a day. I didn't eat much when the weather was bad. As a result, when I went for a morning jog in the park the next day, he stopped me and returned my wallet to me." Hearing this, Li Chengxi was stunned. "This is okay. Isn't this too bloody?" Mu Ningxie said with a smile on her face. "Although it's bloody, it really happened. When I opened the wallet, I found that everything inside was intact, including the cash inside. Wow, God Chin is so good at picking up money. I've fallen to sleep on the street, and I don't use the money after picking it up. But how does he know that the wallet is yours?" Li Chengxi was a little surprised, but also a little curious. 71%. Chapter 359 Xiaoshui, you all deserve this happiness. Facing Li Chengxi's question, Mu Ningxie said directly, "Because there was a photo in the place where I opened my wallet, he should have recognized me when he saw the photo. I asked him why he didn't go home and sleep on the street. He told me that he didn't remember the past by the time I woke up. I was already lying on a bench in this park. Then I asked him how he spent these days without eating or drinking. He told me that he was not familiar with the place where he was born. He saw a waste collection shop not far from the park, so he went to the park with on the nearby streets. He picked up drink bottles and pieces of cardboard and sold them to buy steamed buns and water, and he picked up my wallet when he was looking for drink bottles." As Mu Ningxie recalled, she said with a slight smile on her face, "Ah, God Chin was so pitiful at the time. I can't remember the past. Is that amnesia?" Li Chengxi never expected Qin Tian to have such a story, so she couldn't help being fascinated. Regarding Li Chengxi's words, Mu Ningxie said with some distress, "Well, I later asked a friend to help me find his information, but there was no matching person in China. My friend guessed that Tian probably lived abroad, and then was tied up in China for unknown reasons. Although he escaped successfully, but because of a severe blow to the head, he lost his previous memory and fell to the street. Tramp. 157. Because according to what my friend said, when their people collected Qin Tian's NDA matching information, they found that there were many lacerations on his body, a bit like a knife wound and a bit like a welt. It was also evident that the head had suffered a severe blow." Here. Even Li Chengxi couldn't help but feel distressed. "Anyway, I thought he was pitiful, and his personality was quite humble and honest, so I took him in, because the rental house I rented at that time had 2 bedrooms and 1 living room, and I just wanted to find a shared roommate for myself, can also help me share some rent. In the end, the reality hit me badly. Because he is a black household, no company is willing to recruit Tian when he goes out to find a job. Coupled with the fact that he doesn't have a bank card, even if he wants to do some work on his mobile phone and computer, he has no choice. So helpless, I used my salary of more than 3,000 yuan per month to support the 2 of us for more than 6 months. When we were most embarrassed, the 2 of us could only eat 1 meal a day. In the end, it was my friend who found a way and helped him get an ID card before solving this problem." Quote. Mu Ningxie said with a smile, "My God, more than 6 months. Ning Shui, I finally know why Qin Tian treats you so well. Even if you are a boyfriend or girlfriend, some may not be able to do this selflessly." Hear what Mu Ningxie said. Li Chengxi exclaimed sincerely. He finally understood why Qin Tian spoiled Mu Ningxie so much. Such a big beauty. Just because of the kindness in his heart, he selflessly took in and supported a stranger like Qin Tian for half a year. Anyone with a bit of conscience in their hearts will probably remember this girl for the rest of their lives, okay? After all, it's easy to add icing on the cake, but difficult to give charcoal in the snow, so even few friends are willing to do it. Let alone such a stranger. What happened after that? How did you get together after that? Li Chengxi felt that the fire of gossip was burning. There is no way to stop. Mu Ningxie couldn't laugh or cry. "Are you still asking?" Li Chengxi said with a flattering expression. "Xiaoshui, you are the best. Just tell me, otherwise I won't be able to sleep when I go back at night." Mu Ningxie patted her on the shoulder generously and said, It's okay, I won't be able to sleep when I go back. You can sleep here at night. Anyway, there is enough local literature. Oh, my dear Ning Shui, just tell me, please. Li Chengxi used her stalker skills. Mu Ningxie was tortured to no avail by her. It can only be said that Qin Tian accumulated a sum of original funds by writing books on the internet. Then used this original capital to speculate in stocks on the internet. In just half a year, he has accumulated a considerable amount of wealth. And the two also came together without hindrance because of the fate of sharing Wheel and Woe and love for a long time. Immediately after that was the second year of their marriage. Alien invasion. Countries use mushroom bombs. She and her daughter were all infected and tortured by nuclear radiation. But Qin Tian was immune because of his body. Not only found a job as a manager in a company. And never leave their mother and daughter. I told the other party the experience of doing my best to take good care of her. Very nice. Hear Mu Ningshui's narration. Li Chengxi said sincerely. Xiaoshui, if I still felt envious of you marrying such a good man as Qin Tian before, then I only have the most heartfelt blessings for you now. You deserve this happiness. You and Xiaoxiao deserve it. And at this moment, on the Nemesis aircraft carrier in World of Warships. Although Wenjing felt a lot of pressure. But when he thought that these were grapes prepared by his own captain for the captain's wife. That planting cabin is 100% the highest specification and best quality planting cabin. So he immediately felt that he was doing it again. He patted his chest and said loudly, "Don't worry, Captain, I promise to complete the mission." Qin Tian nodded with a smile, and said, "All right, how many square meters is the largest cabin on our battleship?" Yu Heidao. After being upgraded to an aircraft carrier, there is a 200 square meter cabin on the lower floor. Qin Tian thought about it. I feel a little nervous about planting watermelons and grapes in the 200 square meter planting cabin. Anyway, there are plenty of materials in hand now. He can completely let Sun Xiaoyang and the others synthesize some high-quality metal pieces. Upgrade the aircraft carrier to a large aircraft carrier and have a look. Maybe a bigger cabin will come out by then. Think here. He shook his head at Yu Dai and said, "The area is too small, but we have enough supplies now. Wenjing, go get Sun Xiaoyang and Tang Ming over." Wenjing did as he was told. Tang Ming and Sun Xiaoyang, who were out of breath, were quickly called over. "Captain, are you looking for us?" The two greeted Qin Tian respectfully. Qin Tian nodded and said to them, "I want to grow 2 kinds of fruits. I feel that the current cabin area is a bit small, so I plan to upgrade the battleship to a large aircraft carrier. At present, there are sufficient materials for the medium-sized upgrade, but the high-quality metal pieces for the large scale not enough. I need you guys to give me the metal pieces tomorrow to combine 2 million high-quality metal pieces, and you don't need to combine anything else, just the metal pieces." "Is it only suitable for metal sheets?" Sun Xiaoyang asked. "Yes, only metal pieces are synthesized." Qin Tian nodded. "Okay, no problem, Captain." Sun Xiaoyang readily agreed. 71%. Chapter 360 Upgrade Medium-Sized Aircraft Carrier. After making arrangements for tomorrow's work, Qin Tian said to several people, "Okay, then there's nothing else to do today, just play with yours if you want to play, and start working tomorrow." After sending away the 4 people, Qin Tian returned to the rest cabin, with the blueprint. 10:30 in the evening. After almost all of the crew went back to bed to rest, Qin Tian came to the control room. "Captain, see him." Zula and the other 3 hurriedly greeted each other. Qin Tian nodded, then looked at the 3 of them and said, "Who is on duty tonight?" Chu Hongbao said, "Captain, it's me." Qin Tian said, "On duty tonight, pay more attention to the situation outside. I plan to upgrade the battleship later." "Upgrade, Captain, are we going to upgrade to a medium-sized aircraft carrier?" Hearing this, Zula asked with excitement on his face. "That's right, if the number of high-quality metal pieces is not enough, I plan to directly upgrade the battleship into a large aircraft carrier." Regarding Zhu Li's curiosity, Qin Tian answered him with a smile. And heard Qin Tian's words. Chu Hongbao and Dong Zhuang also became excited. Chu Hongbao immediately said, "Captain, don't worry, I will definitely stare outside tonight. It's not that exaggerated, as long as you don't get attacked by the enemy. Look at the radar, as long as there are a large number of warships approaching within 100 kilometers, wake me up immediately." Qin Tian instructed Chu Hongbao. "Yes, Captain." Chu Hongbao nodded to express his understanding. After giving instructions, Qin Tian left the control room. After checking around the 2 flight decks, only then did Qin Tian return to his rest cabin. Then there was a thought. He used divine detective technique to open the attribute panel of his battleship. Look at the advanced behind the battleship advanced. Without further ado, Qin Tian chose to advance directly. May I ask if the captain consumes 700,000 high-quality wood, 800,000 high-quality plastics, 500,000 high-quality nails, and 700,000 high-quality metal sheets for intermediate advancement of small aircraft carriers? Advanced. Face the prompt of the will of the planet. Qin Tian nodded without thinking. Finish as he chooses. A bright golden light immediately enveloped the entire battleship. At this moment, the goddess of Nemesis, which is more than 800 meters away, is like a small sun emitting endless light. I am afraid that the chosen ones who are 70 or 80 kilometers away from the shining golden light can see the light here. Facing such a scene, Yao Lang and the others who were sitting in the control room of Phoenix chatting and farting were stunned. I'm going. The captain is upgrading the Nemesis. Ma Fei was surprised. Yao Lang looked at the radar screen. Then he turned his head and looked at the people in the control room and said, Brothers, Nemesis is too big, and the light is too bright during the upgrade. I'm afraid you may be able to see our situation from 100 or 10 kilometers away. See, let's not sleep tonight, help guard, and we will sleep after the battleship is upgraded. Sure, no problem. Aaron, you're still smart. Song Zhiqing and Wei Chen nodded in agreement. Waited until 1 o'clock in the morning. Goddess of Nemesis, the golden light from the upgrade dissipated. Yao Lang and the others laughed when they saw this. The duty of the duty. It's time to go to sleep. The next day, when Qin Tian woke up from sleep, it was found that the surrounding golden upgrade light was gone. He sat up in bed. He rubbed his face vigorously with both hands. Then he gets up. While washing, while thinking about it, he used detective technique to open the attribute panel of his battleship. Name: Nemesis Medium Attack Aircraft Carrier. Displacement: 158,900 tons. ER 936.8 times 42 times 14.2. Flight deck M 898 times 38. Carrier aircraft 23 190ths. Health volume 319,200. 148618 154890. Defense 15,000. Strengthened fire control system. Power system UQD 3100 gas turbine times 4. Speed 26 plus 5 knots. Weapon system Genesis class triple mounted Mk 406 mm main naval gun X3. Genesis class Mk 73-203 mm naval gun colorful X1. Mythical class Y1130 near anti-aircraft guns X20. Mythical class 52 122 mm rocket launcher red times 2. Myth class Y15 anti-ship missile. Genesis class Y21 anti-ship missile. Carrier aircraft Genesis class J31 stealth fighter X1. Legendary class Y35 fighter X2. Genesis class 5th generation Raider unmanned fighter X20. Fire control radar orange. Strengthen the missile device. Enhance the radar system. Characteristics: a super aircraft carrier with super high blood volume, dual flight decks and battleship firepower. The stability of fighter planes will increase by 50% after takeoff and landing. 0. Ask for flowers. Introduction. Do you think she is an aircraft carrier? No, she is a battleship. You think she is a battleship? Please find out the number of carrier-based aircraft of the 2 wings. In short, this is an aircraft carrier that can make waves at will without an aircraft carrier battle group. Ordinary advancement: 1.8 million low-quality wood, 2 million low-quality plastics, 1.2 million low-quality nails, 1.4 million low-quality metal sheets, can be advanced into a large aircraft carrier common. High-quality goods advanced: ordinary wood 1.5 million, ordinary plastic 1.8 million, ordinary nails 1.1 million, ordinary metal sheet 1.3 million, can be advanced into a large aircraft carrier excellent. Advanced advancement: 1.2 million high-quality wood, 1.4 million high-quality plastics, 800,000 high-quality nails, 900,000 high-quality metal sheets, can be advanced into a large aircraft carrier extreme. After reading the attribute panel of the medium-sized Nemesis, the corners of Qin Tian's mouth twitched slightly involuntarily. Good guy. There are so many materials needed to upgrade a large aircraft carrier from a medium-sized aircraft carrier. This is when the large aircraft carrier breaks through into an interstellar warship. He didn't dare to imagine how many supplies it would need. I am afraid that the minimum is the consumption of tens of millions of units of high-quality materials, right? Shook his head. After a quick wash, Qin Tian immediately came to the restaurant to eat. After eating and drinking enough, he came to the warehouse curry. After being upgraded to a medium-sized aircraft carrier, the warehouse has an area of more than 300 square meters. But it is obviously difficult to put down tens of millions of supplies directly. What's more, there are a lot of materials in it. So Qin Tian walked around the empty cabins next to him. Another cabin with more than 200 square meters and not too far away was selected and used as a warehouse, and all the materials were directly extracted from the background of the trading market. As a result, the materials directly filled the new warehouse to the full. A small half of it even spilled out of the cabin door onto the aisle. Qin Tian was helpless. It can only consume time to transfer the curry on the aisle to another warehouse. When Sun Xiaoyang and Tang Ming came over, Qin Tian has almost cleaned up here. He didn't talk too much, looked at the two of them and said directly, Xiaoyang, Tang Ming, I opened another warehouse next to it. Most of the supplies are in that warehouse, and the rest will be handed over to you. Warehouse, and the rest will be handed over to you. Warehouse, and